We'd like to open the meeting. Mr. Crotty, roll call, please.
Mr. Accomando?
Present.
Ms. Borelli? Ms. Ainello?
Here.
Ms. Mahoney?
Here.
Mr. Quinn?
Here.
Ms. Robinson?
Here.
Ms. Roloff?
Here.
Ms. Torbic?
Here.
Ms. Zottarelli?
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, by liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all members of the Board of Education and to the Bergen Record in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, 1975. At this time, please be advised that all cell phones and electronic devices should be turned off. I'm going to turn the meeting over to Superintendent Shanley.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming. It would be nice if all of our board meetings were this busy.
Yes, it would.
So we have a couple of great presentations for you tonight. The first one will be Mrs. Wonder from Smith School and Mrs. Violetti, Principal of Franklin School, to present to you about Project Read, our K-2 phonics program that we launched this year. They're going to give you all an update on how it's going. And then we have a presentation from our prospective before and after care
Provider.
organization?
Provider.
Prospective before and after care provider, to give you an overview of what before and after care may look like next year. Usually we start the meeting out with a report, and we often have student presenters, but we do not have student presenters tonight, so I'll both read to you my report and theirs. And based on the length of it, they're probably really glad they're not here. So, okay, so first I'll start with mine. So on Thursday, March 17th, the administrative team attended and presented at a women's leadership conference with a presentation on servant leadership. I'd like to, on behalf of the administrative team, I'd like to thank the Board of Education for your support and encouragement in allowing us and encouraging us and celebrating our attendance. Our session was very well received. It was a packed room, and the conversation was busy and buzzing, and we could have probably gone for another hour. Okay, March was Women's History Month, and a great way to celebrate women's history by recognizing our mostly female leadership team, and ironically, mostly female Board of Education members. National Honor Society induction was on March 27th. There were 17 new inductees, and it was a wonderful evening. It was beautiful in this room, and a wonderful job by Ms. Gherkin and Ms. Napolitano, who are the advisors. April is Autism Awareness Month. Most of us, I believe all of us, are wearing blue to bring awareness to the students with autism and on the autism spectrum. And there were activities in each of the school buildings this month to recognize autism and autism awareness. So there will be some minor changes in statewide assessment at the high school level. Particularly, the state has eliminated grade 11 testing in English language arts and mathematics. So I guess they are catching on that the 11th graders, after they meet their graduation requirements, really don't work so hard on the 11th grade assessments because that requirement is behind them, and they have since eliminated that assessment. And as we get updates from the state regarding what assessment will be, I will keep everybody apprised of that. So 11th graders will still take the relatively new science assessment, along with 5th and 8th grade. Last month, I had the opportunity to attend the senior banquet, which was a lot of fun. If you haven't had the opportunity to see this hypnotist, right now his name escapes me. I'm sure I'll be able to dig it up for you. It was a great time, and the kids had a really wonderful evening. It was a nice event. The senior advisors are working very hard to create wonderful experiences, Ms. Lanzetti and Ms. Dorso. I also had the opportunity to attend Franklin School's Heritage Fair last week, and all the continents represented except for Antarctica. So great turnout, interdisciplinary, cross-curricular, and a gastronomical experience. There were foods from all over the world. Students dressed in costume from their heritage, their family heritage from all over the world. Got to meet parents and grandparents and siblings, and what an incredibly beautiful multicultural event. And I said to Miss Violetti that day, I said, it's very difficult to teach or create a multicultural environment unless you live it, and it was beautiful to see. So the other thing is that during March, the town council actually celebrated Women's History Month by recognizing women in the Saddlebrook community who are worthy of recognition for their amazing services. And one of our very own teaching professionals, amazing human beings, was recognized there, and we would also like to recognize her here. So we ask Ellen Josephson if you will please come up, and I would like to read something to you. So I hope this stays on your desk. And if I can just embarrass you for a moment, if you could turn around and face the audience, I would like to read this to you. So, Ms. Josephson, on behalf of the Saddlebrook Board of Education, I would like to thank you for your many years of tireless volunteer service to the Saddlebrook School District and the students of this community. We are grateful for your attention, your compassion, your leadership, and your follow-through. You regularly dedicate your time before, during, and after the school day, in the evenings, on the weekends, and during school vacations, taking care of our students and their families. You take much of the time you could be spending on yourself and graciously give it to others. Your selflessness is appreciated and duly noted. And for the many, many children and families you have helped, you may never know how much your efforts may have changed their lives for a moment, a day, a week, or an eternity. I am sure there are many people who have no idea what you do because you are never seeking any attention for yourself. Your focus is simply on those in need, always. A world needs more women like you, more people like you. So thank you for all you do, most especially for setting an example for our students and for all of us. Often, we neglect to appreciate and acknowledge people until the end of their careers. So hopefully, we still have you for many, many more years to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, on March 26th and 27th, the middle school and high school science department attended and hosted a multi-district professional development on argument-driven inquiry. The group was a majority of Saddlebrook and Fairlawn, but teachers from Ridgewood, Northern Highlands, Glen Rock, Kearney, Pequannock, and Ramsey were also in attendance. It's great to be able to be a host for these workshops. This is phase one in training our teachers to move our current labs and sessions to support students in constructing arguments to justify and evaluate scientific claims of their own and others. Key elements in the NJSLS science standards. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the student report, beginning with the high school and high school athletics. Congratulations again to Dean Sedicase, who was invited a week ago to attend Virginia Beach for a senior invitational national wrestling tournament where he took 4th place overall. Congratulations to Michael DiGiovanni for being named by Unico as Saddlebrook High School's Brian Piccolo Award winner. Michael was presented the award by Mr. Ianello at the Fiesta on April 2nd. Congratulations to the boys lacrosse team on starting the season off with a win over Newark Eastside. Boys baseball had started the season off with a 4-0 record, outscoring opponents 64-3. Boys and girls track and field picked up the home opener victory over St. Mary's Immaculate Conception in Wallington and follows up this week with boys and girls wins over Woodridge High School. Softball is currently 3-1 with their home opening day win coming off a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 7th inning versus Wallington. Come out on Saturday, April 20th, where Saddlebrook Softball is hosting their annual Hoffs Tournament. Congratulations to the girls lacrosse team on their first victory of the year with a 12-8 win over Dwight Englewood. And a special shout out goes to Alexis Van Benchoten on becoming the first female lacrosse player in school history to reach the 100 career goal mark. Monday morning, April 8th, the athletic department had a collegiate signing ceremony for 3 of our senior athletes and their families. These student athletes will be playing their respective sports in the collegiate level next year. Mia Larson, attending Hood College to play girls lacrosse, Anthony Marchetto, attending SUNY Cobleskill to play baseball, and Kevin Daly, attending FDU Madison to play football. March 13th, 15th, and 20th, 94 sophomore, juniors, and seniors participated in the Junior Achievement High School Heroes and Tough Business Financial Literacy and Community to the elementary school students. On March 21st, the Guidance Department sponsored the annual college fair, and we had 63 colleges attend. It was our best turnout ever. On March 27th, 17 students were inducted into National Honor Society. May 2nd, 10 of Mrs. Pritchard's photography students will be recognized at Town Hall for their participation in the 3rd photography exhibit. Newly featured students include Jacob Quinn, Christian Mendez, Lexi Adams Duffy, Cal Patel, and Julia Fiola. On May 4th, 3 of Mrs. Pritchard's photography students are showcasing their images at the annual Congressional Art Show at Montclair State University. The juried showcase is hosted by Congressman Bill Pascrell. One image from the showcase will be selected and displayed in the Capitol Building in Washington, D.C. as a representation of District 9. We will have a total of 66 students taking over total of 66 students taking 100 AP examinations this May. The academic awards ceremony is on May 29th at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. It is open to the public, and you're welcome to come. At the middle school, the National Junior Honor Society held a food drive in March, and they were able to donate over $1,000 in food and hygiene items to the Saddlebrook Food Pantry. The React Club made 16 blankets for Project Linus after school on March 26th to give those to those in need. On March 8th, 9th, and 10th, the theater at Saddlebrook Middle School High School successfully presented 3 performances of the award-winning musical Mamma Mia, and ticket sales nearly tripled from last year's musical. On March 17th, 8 students, Jillian Levy, Hannah Mansfield, Samantha Voorhees, Natalie Rosales, Stephanie McNamara, Emily Huang, Alan Pinzon, Manav Bharat were selected to sing in the 2019 All North Jersey Junior Region 1 Chorus and performed in a beautiful concert at Mountain Lakes High School. On April 3rd, Ms. Fabricini in the guidance office helped Wellness Wednesday for middle school students, where over 60 students came during lunch to make stress balls in the courtyard. There was such an overwhelming turnout that there are plans to hold another stress ball making event this month. I didn't know that was so hot.
I can hand them out.
I can hand them out and give them to everybody here. On Monday, we could we'll start with the board. On Monday, April 8th, 22 7th and 8th graders participated in Battle of the Books. At Franklin School, we're proud to announce that Franklin School won our district Battle of the Books for the 2nd consecutive year. A little boasting is fun. Congratulations to our team that was comprised of 4 5th graders. Our 4th grade class hosted the Heritage Fair, where they each shared research on a country of their heritage, wore cultural dress, and shared food that is specific to their country. What a feast was had. They also shared a song that they composed, which included each of their country's way of saying hello. Our 5th grade classes hosted their annual Wax Museum on April 1st. They shared their speeches, which included all the information they learned on their historical person, which was also included in their informational writing piece. Each student transformed into their person for the day, and they looked amazing. Our March Madness for books has ended. The winner was The Day the Crayons Quit. We awarded the class who chose the book, as well as the top 3 students with the closest bracket, Never Stop Reading. We will be holding a whole school assembly for Autism Awareness Month, and each student will learn more about this disability and will decorate a puzzle piece declaring what makes them special. At Long School, LMS is recognizing Autism Awareness Month with a collaborative art project in our front hallway and related classroom-based lessons. The LMS PTO and LMS Student Council are collecting funds together for Autism Speaks. And that is a beautiful mural that they put together. Battle of the Books was hosted at Long Memorial School. It was great to see our students come together across the district for this fun and academically competitive event, even though they lost to Franklin. No. LMS 5th grade hosted their second annual Wax Museum on April 1st, and the students' presentations were aligned to a unit of study in nonfiction. They all worked very hard in preparation, and their parents and teachers were so proud of their efforts. Ms. Fontana hosted a Tremoru assembly for our primary grade students, presented by Safe Kids of Bergen County Coalition on the topic of playground and bike safety. Special thanks to Long Memorial School 6th grade parents and many volunteers who assisted with the annual kickball tournament this past Saturday. Smith School has eventually gone live with new Instagram and Twitter accounts. We are excited to share all of the wonders of Smith School on a regular basis. What is your handle? What is that? Smith Scoop is the handle. On Tuesday, World Autism Awareness Day, our staff dressed in their autism awareness shirts and/or the color blue. Our ABA classes were working on a special school-wide activity that includes a school-wide mural and puzzle pieces, and it is beautiful, and it's on Twitter if you want to see it. All classes, every person in the building created a puzzle piece, and all classes are participating in learning about autism through activities, stories, and video clips. Our autism awareness wall will be posted online once it's completed, and it is. It's up and it's beautiful. Recently, our entire school participated in a Duct Tape Your Teacher event, which resulted in 2 6th grade teachers, the PE teacher, and the principal getting duct taped to the gym wall. Who said school wasn't fun? This annual event supports the 6th grade, builds community, and showcases our 6th graders as leaders and buddies to the younger grades as they work together to tape the staff to the wall. Our kindness campaign continues as students are acknowledged daily on morning announcements. Each kindness shout out results in a ring on our chain of kindness vestibule in our front hall. At Washington School, as you all know, April's Autism Awareness Month. The teachers and therapists at Washington School decided to celebrate by teaching the students about Friendship Week. And together we will be listening to a story about friendship, singing songs, and decorating puzzle pieces to display in the front of the building. They hosted a Bubbles for Autism event on April 2nd, taking the kids on the playground as a school community and blowing bubbles that were provided by the PTO to celebrate friendship at the preschool. And I think that concludes my report. Sure.
Thank you very much.
There will be a quiz at the end. No. No, would you like me to introduce?
Sure.
Sure, okay. So I'm going to ask the board if they wouldn't mind sitting on that side while Ms. Violetti and Ms. Wonder present to us about Project REAP.
Okay, so we will begin. So my name is Tony Violetti. I'm the principal at Franklin Elementary School, and this is Deborah Smith. Sorry, Deborah. It's not Deborah Smith.
Deborah Wonder, principal of Helen I. Smith School. I did have a student ask me for changing our school name to Wonder School, but not yet.
Oh, sorry, I'm off to a great start. Okay, so we are going to talk about our Project READ program. I will fully recover from that.
So we're going to start off and talk about why. Why are we here? Why are we presenting on this program? As you know, we use a balanced literacy approach to teach reading and writing. With this approach, it's essential that there be a systematic and explicit phonics program as a key component to prevent gaps in instruction. When reviewing our approach, we wanted to make sure that we had a systematic, explicit, multi-sensory phonics program that was implemented with fidelity across all the schools, and it was followed a continuum with vertical articulation from kindergarten to first to second.
And then we look at the research and what the research shows. And the research shows that children that are not proficient at reading by the end of 3rd grade may very well not grow to be good readers and perform well in other academic areas as well, because as we know, reading goes across all content areas. The research also shows that 40% of in our country, 40% of Americans' 4th graders are not proficient at reading. So what this goes to show us is when a lot of people think that children are born with the ability to read, that people are born with that ability, sort of similar to talking, that it's innate within us. If you surround us with people talking, then we will learn how to talk. That's not the case with reading. Humans actually invented writing, and so now people have to be explicitly taught the phonics instruction in order to be able to learn how to read.
So what is Project Read? This is a program that was started as a study in Minnesota. It was implemented as a pilot in the 3rd largest school district. The research over the years that they implemented this program found that significant progress was happening with this approach to teaching. So much so that over a 3-year period, the referrals for students who needed special education was reduced by 72%. So Project Read is proven to enrich RTI. We're talking about support services that we can employ rather than having a student need to be put into a special education program. It also improves test scores, and it's proven that it meets the state standards.
So when we look at this, the circle on your left, it shows us what reading really does involve. So the difference between phonics and phonemic awareness, phonics is the relationship between the sounds and the written symbols, our letters. Phonemic awareness is actually being able to hear and manipulate, am I correct, Terry? Are you nodding at me? Being able to manipulate those sounds that we hear. So when you put phonics with phonemic awareness, fluency, vocabulary, and you're able to apply it all, that's where we develop our comprehension and we become efficient readers. Our Project Read approach, along with the Orton-Gillingham that we also incorporate into our primary classrooms, it's multisensory. So what does that mean? It means that we're also targeting visual learners, auditory learners, kinesthetic learners, all different multisensory approaches, tactile, body language. So all of that put together is one of the reasons why phonics programs are productive. Essential.
So how did this roll out here in Saddlebrook? What we did was we were looking back at our program and looking at balanced literacy last spring, and we invited the staff to see if anyone in the K-2 staff would be interested in observing a program like Project Read in action. We then went and saw it in action. We got to see it in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade classrooms. We came back and we looked to see if anyone would be interested to volunteer to be a part of a pilot for the 2018-19 school year. We received a bunch of interest, and we pulled together a group of staff that represented K1 and 2 through the 3 elementary buildings. We then, over the summer, purchased Project Read materials for those pilot classrooms. In the fall, we began by training all of our K-2 staff. So while we were going to pilot it in some classrooms, we wanted all the staff to be exposed to it. So if it became something we decided to implement across the board, they were familiar with the program. Being that our staff works so well together and so collaboratively, they actually approached us with feedback that they wanted to all be a part of it. They didn't want it just to happen in one room rather than 2, because they work together, and we felt that that was appropriate. So we were able to get some additional funding through the SBEF and purchase additional supplies so that all of our K1 and 2 staff were able to implement the program. Then they've been implementing it this fall through training and working with the materials. They actually approached us and asked about the opportunity to go and visit the program in action again that's been using it for several years. Obviously, when you implement something, when you're learning about it, you have certain questions. You want to know some backgrounds. But once you're in it and you're using it day to day, different questions arise. So they wanted to go back, see it now through the lens of being a teacher who's implementing the program. So they were able to go back full grade level teams, kindergarten went for a morning, first grade went for another morning, and second grade went another day, to see it again in action, speak with the teachers, and they could look at it from a different lens at this time. They then had an opportunity to have the afternoon to work collaboratively with their colleagues and plan moving forward and other things they want to implement and projects they're working on with the curriculum for the rest of this school year.
Okay, so this is what I thoroughly enjoy. This is a spelling calculator, part of the Project Read program. And what it does is it takes our 44 sounds that we have in our language and it departmentalizes it. And these rules are taught to our students as to how to recognize the letters that make these sounds. So if you look in the first column, it has our consonants. So we know we have 26 letters in our alphabet. We know 5 of them are always vowels, so that leaves 21. But we have 20 sounds that those consonants make. So if you look at number 2 under consonants, you see that there's 4 ways to make the k sound. So if you look under C and K, there's letters underneath it. So I'm just going to skip ahead for a second because there's this adorable rule that our teachers use to teach our students how to spell these words. When the k sound is followed by an A, O, or U, you use a C because it represents a cat. When it's followed by an I or an E, then you use a K. So these are some of the rules from Project Read that we're utilizing in our classrooms. If you skip down to, let's see, under consonants number 7, you have the j sound. So J can make a j sound, but it's never at the end of a word in the English language. G makes a j sound, and you see underneath G it has I, E, or Y. So whenever it has an I, E, or Y after the G, such as giant, germ, allergy, the G makes the j sound. That hyphen before DGE means it comes at the end of the word always. So judge, fudge, and it has underneath that end of the word short vowel sound, 1 syllable. And then the GE, such as percentage, discourage, also at the end of the word. So when you look at this, and then you have the digraphs, which are 2 consonants put together that make 1 sound, such as sh and ch. You have the short vowels, long vowels, then you have diphthongs, which are lots of fun. Diphthongs are 2 vowels put together, and you sort of glide from one vowel to the other, and there's movement with, and your tongue kind of moves across as you make that sound. So they're learning all these rules that will help them discriminate and learn how to spell these words and also decode them as they're reading.
So that's a lot of the research, a lot of the background, the calculator, which blows my mind because I was a student who just learned to read and I didn't know all those rules. So it's really important to learn all this information. But what does it look like for our students? Here are some examples. So you can see skywriting up there. This is the idea that students need to have a multisensory approach. By doing this, you actually incorporate body movement. So they actually, you want to model while I'm talking? Thank you. So they actually will write the word with their dominant hand. They practice, they sound it out, and by incorporating their body, they're actually, it's adding the bigger muscles, which actually triggers the muscle memory to transfer that information to the brain. So by using the skywriting, they're incorporating additional muscles, they're saying it, they're sounding it out, they're practicing all of it, you're combining all these different pieces that help them retain this information. You also have another process for finger spelling. You ready to model again? Ready. All right, so the teachers will say the word, the student will repeat the word, the teacher puts it in a sentence, the students repeat. So example would be cat.
Cat.
So and that's another process. In addition, we have something where they throw the words to the students and the students will catch it with their non-dominant hand and then practice their writing as well. And we'll actually see that modeled by students in a few moments. But all these things are really a way to create and integrate the process for them. So it's visual, it's auditory, and it's kinesthetic for them.
And what you see, the picture down below, is a student pounding out the sentence. So that's the teacher using sentence dictation. So she's saying the sentence, the students are repeating it. As they repeat the sentence, they pound it. They might tap the desk. Every teacher might use a little bit different of a strategy there. They pound it out, and then they write it as they say it. And that helps them differentiate between the words, where to put the spacing when they write the sentence. And then they use that sentence sentence frame. That sentence frame shows the students that you're going to begin with a capital letter and you end with a punctuation mark.
And the great thing about something like that sentence frame, they talk about the mountain and then the line with the stop sign at the end or the period. That's something that they will see visually in kindergarten on their chart board. They all have blue charts. You will also see it in first grade classroom, and you will see it in a second grade classroom. So it's something that will always be there, that it just becomes a part of the process. It's the same language that they're hearing over and over again, but they're also seeing the same visuals.
And I also want to mention, too, that there's different rules, like with the finger spelling. So if the word ends with a blend, I love seeing this in my first grade classrooms, that for the word toast, it ends with a blend ST. So you get st, and then you swirl that finger and you bring it back. So the teachers are really learning different ways, multisensory ways, to connect to our students so that they really embrace the learning. So we're going to show you, the first video is an example of first grade classroom throwing and catching a word.
This next word, ready to catch it? Yep. The word is clean.
And you see the pocket chart is in the front right there with all the vowel teams. That's what they're working on this week. And they're writing the words on the board as well, and they're reviewing for their assessment.
We also have an example of red words. Red words are our sight words. So these are not words that they can sound out. So these are not words that they'll be able to sound out and use their phonics approach. They are sight words. So we use the multisensory approach with that, and you'll see them tapping it out here.
M-E some. S-O-M-E some. S-O-M-E some.
One thing you may notice is if you think back to when you learned spelling, if you were like me, you memorized 20 words each week and they followed a pattern, but you memorized them and a couple weeks later you probably did not remember them. The concept here is that we're teaching children a skill, so they're not going to come home each week and say, here are my 20 spelling words. It'll be, this is the skill we're working on, and they'll be practicing words all week that follow those patterns, and when they do go to assess them, they're going to have some words that they might have done every day, but they may also have nonsense words, which show that the child understands the concept. So if they're doing the DGE versus GE at the end, whether it's a long or a short vowel, they will, the way it's approached, they will actually have words that might be made-up words, but if they understand the concept of when you use DGE versus GE to make the just sound, they will be able to apply it whether it's a real word or a word that we've made up.
These are two other pieces of the Project Read program that we pulled just to share with you. So the first one are the cutting patterns to put words into syllables. So one of the things that I love is when I go into the classrooms and you see the students labeling a letter as a vowel or a consonant, so they put a V or a C. And then as they learn these patterns, they can fill them in. So for a VCCV word, it's a solid red line because you're always going to divide the word between those two consonants. So for the word button, but, and then ton. For the VCV words, you see it's a dotted line. That dotted line means that it's going to depend on a variable. The variable is going to be whether that first syllable is open or closed. So the word spider, it's an open syllable. It has a long vowel sound. So you're going to split it between the vowel and the consonant. So it's going to be vowel, then the divider, and then the consonant vowel. For the word cabin, where it's a closed syllable, because the A, the vowel sound, is sandwiched between the two consonants, you're going to split it in the second part of that. So that's why those lines are dotted. And then as you go across, it gets even, you can use harder and harder words. So subtract has VCCV, and it's a solid line. It's always going to be divided there. When you get to the bottom right corner, it's going to depend on the type of word. If it's a compound word, you're going to divide it between those second two consonants. And then if it's not a compound word, you're going to divide it towards the beginning. So these are rules, and as they learn these rules, they can also fill them into the syllable types. And it's very cleverly in the shape of a 7 because there's 7 syllable types that they're going to learn. So an example of that would be this. So this was in a second grade classroom, and that's the pocket chart showing the VCV words, and on the left side you'll see the ones with the open syllables and where to divide them, and on the right side is a closed. And then they have the paper that they're working on. You see them doing the V and the C. The squiggly line is when they're practicing the pronunciation, and then they draw the line down the middle, or where it belongs.
Another example of a pocket chart here. You can see the Y is in yellow. That indicates to the students that it has multiple sounds that it can make. And you can see the 3 different versions of how that Y can function in a word. And the students are practicing that. On the right-hand side, it's a little hard to see, is an example of a practice sheet. What you can't necessarily see there is that the students are getting really good at putting whether it's a vowel or a consonant, and they're marking up these words. But one of the neatest things is they're putting the diacritical marks on. And I had to write that word down because I couldn't remember it. But I was in a first grade classroom today, and the students were putting whether it was long or short vowels, and the first grader said, "Oh, I get to put that diacritical mark on." And then the student said, "I love saying that word. It's a big word, and I know it, and I'm applying it." And they were really proud of themselves as they put the long and short vowel sounds on. And they had this vocabulary that I never knew as a kid. So it was pretty impressive to see.
It is. These are just other examples of how Project Read might be used. It does come with resources that you might project on the board and have the students use the dry erase marker. You might do worksheets using skinny markers, different ways to engage the students, some of the other skills that they use.
Here are a few other examples of things you would see in classrooms. Across the top is the alphabet. That is a visual that's in all the kindergarten classrooms. As you can see, the vowels are highlighted in yellow and there are stars above them to remind students of the vowels. You also see some other pocket charts there that have the red words. They have jelly bean and elephant words, which you're going to hear about from a student in just a moment. There's Bossy R on there. You have vowel teams. You have a bunch of different things that are up there.
So if you look at the pocket chart on the left, the vowel teams, again, the ones with the hyphen before it means it comes at the end of the word. The yellow one, the IE, is yellow because it makes different sounds. So IE can make the long I sound as in pie or tie a shoe, or it can make the long E sound as in chief or belief. And these are the skills that they're practicing in our classrooms. Okay, so I was walking around, and as you can see, most of those pictures were taken, the same skill, because I was walking around one week and just, snapping photographs and taking videos over that week. As I walked in, I just happened to ask, who knows the difference between a jelly bean and an elephant word? And this student got my attention. He kind of demands some attention, so I'm going to share with you his answer.
A jelly bean word is a one-syllable word. An elephant word has 2 or more syllables. And a syllable, there's syllables in a word. Without syllables, it'll be an invisible word. So depending on how many syllables are how many talking vowels. What I mean by talking vowels is how many say the long or short vowel sound. For example, cap. A says the short vowel sound. It's one syllable. Cape. It says the long vowel sound and it's one syllable. But there's another vowel which is E. But talking vowel means saying the long or short vowel sound, and E doesn't say. It's silent to make A say A.
My first grade teachers are here, so thank you, my first grade team.
So what you can see from this is what we're seeing in all of the buildings, and believe it or not, our kindergarten, first, and second graders are having these types of conversations. And one of the most important things is that they're able to do this work, but they're also able to explain it back to us. And I don't know about you, but in first grade, I probably couldn't have told you the difference of a closed syllable and an open syllable and why it was such. So I think what this is showing is the level of attainment, if you will, of what they're learning and how they're able to explain it and turn around and use it. And that is something that we are really seeing throughout the buildings across all the students with this type of program. And it's been a great success. And to hear them talk about their if you have a first grader, ask them about jelly bean and elephant words. They will tell you, because it's really great to listen to them explain it.
And that's our presentation.
Okay, I'd like to thank Mrs. Wonder and Mrs. Violetti for that great presentation. I think what's most impressive is to see how much has taken place in less than a school year and what the students have learned and how the teachers are embracing the work. And I think the most important thing is to set very high expectations for our students, because it's incredible to see the heights to which they can rise when you give them everything that they need and you believe in them. So thank you both very much. And so now I would like to introduce our friends from Champions. Ray, did you want to say anything, or? So we're setting up our presentation here. Okay, so go ahead.
While they're setting up, we started looking at the program during our budget time, and there's a process for this. This isn't just to go and select the company. We had to follow the statutes in the board agenda, but you have to publish an ad in the newspaper seeking proposals from child care providers. We sent it out to about 7 or 8 had requested it. We had 5 that returned, so it was about a month. It was February, and the proposals were due back in March 15th. We received 5 proposals. Ms. Shanley and I went through them, and we narrowed it down to 3. We looked at companies that were in our area, surrounding school districts, and also the size comparable to what we have here. Then we selected those 3 companies, came in and interviewed with the Budget Finance Facilities Committee at the end of March, and the committee selected KCE Champions, and they're here tonight to do a presentation, and I'll let them introduce themselves, and we'll hold questions off until the first public session, so they'll complete their presentation, the board will come back, and the board can ask questions, and then we'll open it up to the public.
Okay, so we just ask you to reserve your questions until that time. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew Schofer. I'm a partnership manager, and this is Gabriella Almagro. And Gabriella is an area manager. She oversees 7 schools that have our program running in those schools in before and after care programs. Maybe you can go to the next slide. Have you heard of KinderCare? Anybody? Okay, KinderCare, big company. We have 30,000 employees. Every single day we take care of 160,000 children. We've been doing it for about 25 years. We know children well, love children. It's the focus. That's all we do. It's the focus of our lives and our livelihood. We have 3 divisions. One are the KinderCare learning centers around the country. Parents drop off their kids in the morning, go to work, come back. Then we have daycare centers at corporate facilities. We call it KinderCare at Work. And then Gabriella and I work for the Champions Division. In the Champions Division, we care for 30,000 children in schools daily. So that covers that. Let's go to the next slide. And these are our partner school districts in New Jersey. So locally, we are in the Paramus School District, the Westwood Regional School District, and Englewood Cliffs. And I'm sure you'll notice the names of the other ones. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry. Again, I'm Gabriella, and yes, I oversee Belleville School District and also Englewood Cliffs from the districts that you see there. I wanted to definitely focus on, you see a little bit of the scope of the company. I've been very fortunate to be in the after school, before school, out of school time industry. I shock myself when I say this. Since 2000, I started right out of high school. It was my first job, and I've been here ever since. So I've had a chance to see a lot of different programs throughout these years as a teacher, as a parent of a Champions program, as a community member where Champions is in the district that I live in, as an area manager. And I have to say that by far we have one of the top quality programs out there. So I'm really excited to share this with you. We're the largest national before and after school provider to earn corporate accreditation from Advanced ED, and these are the kind of basically the high quality areas that they kind of analyze us or evaluate us on, which is curriculum, learning environment, health and safety, and staff quality. And these are some of the things that we offer through our program. We do before school, we do after school, we do summer camps, we do break camps whenever the schools are closed for winter camp, spring camp. Sometimes they close for, let's say, NJEA convention. So anytime the school is closed, we are able to have programs. Early release days, whenever the schools have half days, we're more than happy to come in early and, be able to provide that service for the school. Enrichment programs and even preschool programs as well. One of the biggest things is our STEM-focused curriculum, which gives the students a self-directed approach to learning. All of our focus is really having the kids explore what they love, what they're good at, giving them a chance to explore, create, share, give feedback, incorporate what they love into their learning, share it again, and it's really focused on them. These are some of the content areas that we try to cover through our curriculum: character development, executive function, creative expression, literacy, inquiry-based learning, community building. And you can see that through the different interest areas that we have. So you see library we have, and I'll show you a little bit of what that looks like as far as the setup. But the different interest areas that we have is library, creative arts, math and construction, puzzles and games, and our STEM science aspects of our program. The STEM program is something new. I don't know if maybe you want to share a little bit about that.
Yes, we piloted different sort of technologies over the past couple of years, and this year, and your district would have it also, is we're introducing iPads for children. They work in teams of 3, so they become digital creators, not consumers. So they work in teams of 3 on iPad. They've got one is a pilot, another one's a co-pilot, then an advisor. And they build stories online. And then when they're done building a story, we give them the lesson plan. They have to present it to the group. And the other people in the group come back, give them feedback, and then they go back and edit that program. So it's a way for them to be sort of active participants, not passive. And then we have something called a Kibo robot, and that's where children learn using blocks, sort of object-oriented programming. But what they do is they take the Kibo robot and they scan it like a barcode, and it tells the computer what to do. So they scan a couple of blocks, and then it does things, and then they want to rearrange it, and it does different things. So it's a way to introduce them and make them active, not passive.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. So this is one of the new and exciting things that the company has developed now for all the new districts that are coming on board. And this is pretty much a model. We don't usually run champions in classroom. We use more of the bigger space, more like the multi-purpose area or the gym space. These are our different areas and how they're usually set up in the gym space. So you see the different interest area: carts and tables, puzzles and games, creative arts, STEM homework table, reading, literacy area, math construction, and then we usually have like a fitness area. We help students and support with homework, so that's one of our biggest components of our program. We do have a time dedicated for homework support, fun fitness and physical activities. We also provide a PM snack as well for them when they come in. This is some of the equipment that comes, to the programs when we set up. You can see the different carts. All the carts are filled with thousands of dollars of toys, and which is the most exciting thing when the kids see it. Legos, games, STEM equipment, the iPads, everything there, the carpets, books. The little bins, the little baskets, like the laundry baskets, that's kind of like their own little basket for their own things. So we're equipped with a whole bunch of great resources for the kids at every school. And these are some of the additional components. We have a curriculum that we have. We have a spring, fall, winter curriculum. We also have a sports and fitness curriculum. We have 2-week themes, like, for example, maps and more maps, solar system, American folk music. So we have a lot of different themes where they're doing a lot of hands-on learning. Multi-sensory learning as well. Journals, we're very big on promoting the literacy that they're learning throughout the day as well. You see on the bottom left the homework logs. student surveys. We ask them what did they like to learn, what would they like to do in Champions, so we get their feedback to know what they want to learn with us. The break box, which is very cool, multi-sensory tools that we use for all of our kids for self-regulation. They have really, really cool things in there, like the body socks and the putty and things that the kids kind of just use to kind of go in their little corner and just, self-soothe, just need a timeout. A time away from everyone where they could just kind of be alone. We have that component as well in our programs. Junior counselors, where we empower the older students to be leaders within their groups, lead activities, do different project-based learnings. Classroom clubs, current projects. So we have a whole bunch of resources and components that are available through our Champions programs. From what I understand, the rates, maybe you want to cover this?
Yes, these are the rates for the program. The top line is for the before school program. If you're, the way you come to Champions is by Wednesday at midnight every week. You have to come online and tell us what your childcare needs are going to be for the upcoming week. You can come all 5 days, you can come one day, you don't have to come at all. So the flexibility is an important part of our program. So you tell us Wednesday what your needs are for the upcoming week. You can also just drop in if at last minute you need childcare for that day. So that's available too. And then the bottom line is the rate for families that have their children in before school and after school programming. It offers a 20% discount.
And then we also have different discounts. So if you work in the district and you have a child that comes to Champions, we have a discount for you. Military families, we also have a discount. And if you have more than one child, we also have discounts for the additional children as well. So, so this is a little bit of the value. As far as our staff, we hear there's very good talent here. So we're really excited to welcome, through the interview process, a lot of the talent that we already have here. We have a very in-depth selection process as far as our teachers. We recruit locally, also within the school. We have initial online assessment, phone, in-person interviews, extensive background checks. We provide first aid CPR for all our staff, all the fingerprinting, child abuse record information clearance. We do all of that for all of our staff. We have training, we provide 24 hours, and that's usually a minimum because we do a lot of professional development throughout the year, different topics like health and safety, licensing, learning environment, curriculum, everything that has to do with our program, and then continuing education, and then the benefits. One of the things that a lot of people like, the benefits, if you work 25 hours or more, you're considered full-time, so you get access to all the medical, dental, vision, retirement planning, and everything. So those are some of the components. We have continuous program improvement. Just as in a school, you would do the observations, unannounced observations. We have the same thing. We have quality observation tools where we're constantly, observing and improving the program through our staff so that we can continue to make our programs better. And then as far as the partnership, our goal is really to develop a great team with the districts. We have this already with a lot of our Champions programs with the districts that I have in Belleville and Englewood Cliffs. We participate in all the district events. We come out, to the PTA meetings. Our goal is really to become one team and help the district with whatever the initiatives are as well. So there's a lot of principal communication, teacher communication, even as far as students. If a student needs extra support, we're there to build that relationship. Aligning with the parents and children's needs. We send out newsletters, homework assistance. We have parent Champions conferences. What else? Convenient online scheduling, as Andy mentioned. We want to make it as flexible and as easy for you to be able to schedule and use Champions whenever you need. And this is a little bit more about the partnership and our goal with us and you. And so, anything else that you would like to add, Andy?
Sure. Two things. We survey the families. We survey you twice a year. to get feedback from you about how we are doing, and then our staff is evaluated based on that, and we look to improve the programming based on that. And we also survey the staff in the schools similarly. And all children are welcome. All children are welcome. Children with special needs, we have an inclusion services department. The families are encouraged to speak with them, discuss any issues that are of concern. They work with our site directors, and then we figure out how to incorporate all the children, an important part of what we do.
And one other thing that may come up in question, the ratios that we have are 1 to 15. So we usually have, one teacher for every 15 students, and then as we need more teachers, as programs grows, we will add more as needed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
This way, everybody will be able to hear you. You don't mind?
No,
Ask you questions, and we'll open it up to...
Just leave it on. Just right now? Okay, perfect.
Makes it easier.
No problem. Hello, I'm so sorry. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation. We'll now open up, any board members that have questions for them, please ask.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
The burning question, as far as the employment, you said that you're willing to work with our staff. What is your hiring process and what are the qualifications?
So we go through the interview. Everybody has to apply through our system, our KinderCare education system. They go through a Gallup survey, which has key questions based on what skills we're going to need for a staff member there. So they would have to go through that. That Gallup survey will give us an idea. It would either rate them not recommended, conditionally recommended, or recommended. Once that comes in, then we go to the in-person interview process. And through that, and then we decide if they're someone that we would like to hire. The qualifications, ideally, we would like for someone to have a bachelor's degree and some experience. We do accept like associate's degree as well. Different positions require different minimum education requirements.
But we're always anxious in interviewing the staff that's running the program because they know the children, they know the families, so it's an important part of what we do. And before we open it up to sort of the outside world, we have a certain window, maybe it's 2 weeks or a month, that we encourage the staff that's in the program now to apply so that we can interview them first and they're first up for the positions with us.
Question? I'm trying to get this. Hi, thank you. We currently have students, high school students who work part-time in our aftercare. I had met with a different person and they said that you would hire them.
Yeah.
Could you explain that process too?
So we have a minimum, but for example, we have very successful two staff members in the Belleville School District that are phenomenal staff members, and they had a high school diploma, and they have grown with our organization. So yes, it is, the high school diploma would be the final minimum of what they would need to, but I think...
No, that's...
Oh, high school, okay.
Our students.
I don't know about that. I know that we have people with high school diploma.
Yeah, Sarah Hatton is the person that Angela is speaking about. And in the Paramus School District, we have 2 high school students that work in the program, but they work as assistants to the teachers. So they have an interest in working in the program, so we let them come on board, but they are what we call not in ratio. They are in addition, so that they're to help support the staff. So we're happy to do that.
Through the chair. Yes. I've had 2 kids go through before and after care, and they had the literacy area, they had the homework area. They had the Legos, fitness. The one thing that I'll be honest, I'm not happy with is the iPads, because they get enough of that at home.
Okay.
They don't need to be doing that in aftercare.
I didn't hear, can you speak up? I didn't hear the end of that.
They don't need to do the iPad in aftercare when they'd be doing that at home. I'd rather them be doing their homework.
If I could address that.
Also, the reason why my kids do not do the aftercare anymore is because I asked years ago about a discount for our children. And it was told that either it's going to be nepotism or favoritism. So my mother-in-law takes care of it for nothing for us now. So what's different from that to what you guys are offering?
The first thing about the technology is that the children are limited, like in the groups of 3 to 15 minutes a day, a few days a week. So we don't encourage them to stay on computers. If the district decides and the families decide they're not interested in it, we don't have to include it. So it's an option.
And then as far as the discount, we do have those discounts available for the
Yeah, my
multi-child.
question is, why would you guys be able to offer that now when we were asked for it in the past and weren't able to get it? What's the...
Is another district that
No.
has Champions program?
Oh, no, this is our district.
No, I'm saying,
No.
No.
okay. So we do have the discount available. So if we were to be here, we do have the discount, and we do offer it to different districts as well.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, the computer,
you have your microphone on?
It is on. It's mine. Can you hear me now? Okay. My understanding when you were explaining it, it's a STEM project, so it's not outside playing Fortnite or anything like that. It's academic based.
Correct.
Yes.
So the 15 minutes is going to be purely academic based. It's not them playing on the internet. Right.
No, there's no internet access, and there's 2 iPads for every 15 students. So it's not that we're loading them up with iPads. And again, it's part of STEM or STEAM, and they're digital creators, so they're learning how to use these technology programs to create things. But if the parents are not interested in that, we don't have to have that.
Yeah.
So again, we work with the community, and we work with the district staff, and we customize the program to meet the needs of the community.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure it was academic based. Thank you.
Yes.
You have a question?
Through the chair, I have another question. Is there downtime for the children if they choose not to do these events or?
We have the curriculum, we have activities. So for example, when you saw the interest areas, there's always, based on every 2-week theme, there is one activity for each interest area out available throughout the 2 weeks. So if it's, let's say, maps and more maps, there's a science activity for maps and more maps. There's a math and construction activity for maps and more. Those are out for 2 weeks. They always have a choice of where to go. Now, in addition to that, we always have one or two other activities that are led by the teachers, or sometimes even the junior counselors, that are available for them to do. The kids are always encouraged to do whatever they like. If they like science, go do the science activity for the day. If they like math and construction, go do the math and construction activity for the day. If they don't want to participate in that activity for the day and they want to, just sit on the rug and play with the Legos and build, they're always welcome to do that. There's always choice in every single day in Champions. So we want to encourage them to explore their interests, what they like, and we found that has been very successful. There is kids that now, found that they love designing, and now they're designing a logo for Champions. We found kids that love, building, and they, do that every day. So we want to encourage that.
Subsidy.
Thank you.
So they always have a choice, yes.
When you presented to the board committee, you talked to us about subsidies for families who may have financial hardship for your reduced lunch. Could you talk to us a little bit about what you offer in that area?
Yeah, so for example, in the Belleville School District, probably 50% of our families need the subsidy and have the subsidy. We work with the local organization called Program for Parents, and then the parents apply through them, and then they get the subsidy. So some parents pay nothing to come to us, some pay $10 a week, $20 a week. So we always partner with those organizations, so if a parent does have that financial need, we can set it up so that they can apply through them and then get the coverage for the tuition for us.
I have a follow-up question. So you talked to us a little bit about, because I don't think you touched on it outside of the interview process and the training. Talk to us about security touch points, head counts, checking kids out, how you know you can let them go. What is your
So we have, from the moment the children come to us, we have parents sign in and out sheets. So the parent drops off to us, transfer responsibility, they sign them in. When they pick them up, same thing, they sign them out. When they set up the online account system for the scheduling and just registering the child, you put in emergency contacts. Those are the only people that are allowed to pick up your child. And yes, you can update it whenever you need to. When you pick up, we have to check that sheet to see who is allowed to pick up. In the beginning, of course, we need to ID all the time until we get familiar with the faces. So we release only to people that are on that list. During program time, we have child head count sheets for our licensing regulations. We count the children every 30 minutes, name to face. So every 30 minutes throughout before school, after school, summer camp, spring camp, we're counting the kids every 30 minutes and making sure that they're with us, whoever needs to be with us. Even when they go to the bathroom, we are always, basically, they're always at our site. So not even to go to the bathroom can they go on their own. There always has to be a teacher that's either in the hallway, kind of watching them as they're in, that is watching at all times. Not, of course, not in the restrooms, but, in the hallway, watching them go in and then receiving them to come back out.
Okay, if I could, through the chair, this question is for Ray also, I believe. You said when there's breaks, you guys can also come and do before and after care. If that's the case, who would pay for the custodial staff or hence security?
Yeah, so whenever there's breaks, we have the full day camp, so it would depend on whatever the agreement.
Usually breaks occur in one building out of all the schools, so that we minimize the amount of sort of interruption in the schools. And then we worked out the sort of accommodation for the custodial fees in the rates that we're reimbursing to the district.
Yeah. So just for clarification, if I'm a parent and my kids are off teacher convention and I want to take advantage because I have to work on teacher convention, you would have full day camps for that?
We would work with the school district, with you, to figure out if you wanted us to open. The parents needed program, and then we would open for the day.
Okay, and so you will still be able to operate, because these are questions I'm anticipating you may hear, so I might as well ask them now. So you will still be able to operate in all of the locations we still serve, and we will not be closing any locations. You could provide, if I tell you, I need you here 6:30 in the morning and I need you to go to 7 o'clock at night, you can provide whatever window we give you that our families need. You can do that?
Sure, yeah, that's our job.
And that would be available to everyone in the district, even if they typically don't use aftercare or before care, if they just wanted it on those, like the teacher convention, those 2 days because there's no school?
Yeah, they would. Everybody still has to go through the registration process, because in that process we know about the child, if they have any allergies, any accommodations, who can pick up, all those security questions. So everybody would still have to register through our programs, and then yes, that would still be considered kind of like the option we have, which is a drop-in, where you can register. We have parents that just register for the year, pay the registration fee for the school year, and then just bring them whenever they need it. One day they have an emergency, or another day they just have to work. They're able to use it whenever they need.
Thank you. And Sophia?
I have one other question. You said you do summer programs. That would be something new to us. Can you just explain a little bit?
Yeah, so that's fun time. So we set it up as a camp. They do different activities, and the times would be, normally we work, so if we open before school program at 7 and we close after school program at 6, we know those are the times that parents need the program, so our camp would run, for example, 7 to 6. So during that time, we have cooking clubs, we have dance activities, we bring in vendors, karate, we do trips, water play days. So we pretty much set up the whole day where the kids are just having a blast and doing a lot of the things that are of interest to them. Their opinions, the parents' opinions, what the parents want to see, what the kids want to see is really important to us. So a lot of our programming depends on what the needs or the wants of the kids and the parents are. We do have a summer curriculum as well, so we have that kind of the infrastructure to plan the days and the weeks, but we also welcome any other feedback that we have.
And just for clarification, summer program would not be for this summer, because we are looking at starting
Correct. It would be
aftercare
next
for
summer.
September, so it would not be until next summer should we go that route.
Correct.
Okay.
And the summer camps would also be on a day-to-day basis? They would have that option if they only wanted to send their kid?
Yeah, we could, we usually, sometimes in some camps it's a daily rate, some camps are a flat rate for the week, so we would set that up based on the program.
Just one more thing, can I just say? When I had met with in the other school district, that school district runs enrichment programs in the summer, so Champions wraps around that. So say they offer a camp for 2 hours, Monday through Friday, the Champions would come and do the before that. The kids could go to the enrichment camp and then come back for the aftercare. And I thought that was that was nice, because if we have enrichment programs or something that we already have, that you could wrap around that.
Yeah, so we have a lot of that, like tutoring. A lot of the schools have tutoring after school, so we have a lot of our Champions kids that, let's say, 2 days a week they go to tutoring, so they go to tutoring first, and then by 4:30 they come to us. Some in one of our other districts, they're getting ready to start golf. So the kids are gonna come to us for 30 minutes, go to golf, and then come back to us, and then dismissed at 6 when the parents pick them up, so. And then the parents are able to pick them up at whatever time they need.
Do any other board members have questions at this point?
If I could have, I have an opinion, if I could say that.
Yes.
I don't see the difference of what, no disrespect, but what you guys are offering from what our staff already does. It seems like the only thing that we're saving money on is custodial staff. That you guys are paying for custodians. They already do the summer program, they already have yoga, they have all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but my thing is, the only thing it's not on you guys, I know that. The only thing we're saving on is they're gonna cover the custodial costs. Why not raise the rate by $5 or $10 a week and then?
Well, I think they get a lot of fans.
If I can, through the chair. You weren't here on Monday when we discussed this, but the idea is to get away from the administration. Our administrative team should not be focused on this.
They shouldn't.
Right,
They should.
but who's they?
Or the staff, before and
It
after.
should be, if we give it to a service company who's going to focus on our students, our administrative team can focus on achievement. That's where they need to focus on.
The other thing is, Mike, there was a lot discussed at the meeting you weren't at. I'm not about to re-discuss that right now. We can discuss that later. But the company does offer a lot of advantages that we cannot do, both with curriculum and many other aspects. It will be a very good improvement to what we offer right now, just because of the size and scope of what they can offer our students, which we cannot at this point. We can discuss this later, but I'm not going to.
We're discussing it now.
I'm not going to go into an hour's worth of a meeting you missed.
You guys?
We're going to open it.
We'll open it.
Does anybody have any questions specific to the champions before aftercare?
Go to the one at a time. You have to do this.
Yes.
Let them go to the podium.
Oh, hold on, I'm sorry, 1 second. My apologies. It was a, oops, in my part. May I have a motion to open up the meeting for the public to ask questions specifically of the champions and the before and after?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now we're open. Could you please, go to the podium, state your name and address? Thank you.
Steve, read the whole thing. You gotta read the
Do I have to read the whole thing for that, too?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Wait 1 minute.
Residents are requested to state their name, address, and subject matter. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 45 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by a participant to 5 minutes duration. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. I just want to remind everybody, right now, we're open for comments only on champions and the before and after care proposal. Thank you. Sorry.
Hello, my name is Myla Herget. I live in 147 Oxford Avenue, obviously in Saddlebrook. So my question is obviously regarding your program. I'm trying to keep an open mind. Based on the rate that you presented, I would end up paying more than what I am paying now. But aside from that, my concern is you said that the ratio of supervision is 1 to 15. Currently in Smith School, there's, obviously there's a varied age in terms of attendance of the students. My kid is in first grade and there's, 5th graders. And I have heard, I don't personally have issues with our current program. I know it could be better, but I don't have issues, but I have heard that several parents have issues in terms of safety and supervision. Like they're just not happy because there are certain things that go on that they feel like needs to be a little bit better. So I am just concerned that you're saying it's 1 to 15. Again, the age range, how's that? How are you guys going to guarantee me that, my kid would be supervised properly, that, they're going to be safe? Even I don't mind them being mixed in with other ages. However, I want to make sure that there's enough supervision, especially that I'm going to end up paying more for the program.
So for our licensing requirements, we have to have 1 to 15. So the second we get to 16, we have to provide a second staff. So for the ratio, there will always be a 1 to 15 ratio. If it goes over the 15, we require an additional teacher and so on and so forth. As far as the mixed age group, that's why we have different daily activities that are geared. We have usually 3 that we offer that are available a day, a K through 2nd, a 3rd through 6th, and a K through 6. So there's options for where an activity of the K through 2nd will be doing an activity in this table with a teacher, and the 3rd through 6th will be doing an activity. A lot of the times, the kids love to play together. So they see them as older brothers and sisters. So even though sometimes we encourage them, okay, come do this activity, there's more geared to them, a lot of the times they play together, and it works out really well with our junior counselor component that we have, where the older kids serve as role models for the younger kids. So as far as that supervision, it is the 1 to 15. We have to track the kids at all times. They have to be visible. They can never leave our area or our site without us. So we will always have that.
Could I just ask a question? Because I asked that same question when we had our committee meeting, and you also said to me that nobody's ever left alone with a child. You never have one person left alone with a child. So even though you say 1 to 15, you never have 15 students and one child was one adult was the answer that I received. So could you explain that? Because right now you just keep saying 1 to 15.
Yeah, so for every 15 students, we have to have one teacher on site. And normally, we always will have 2 minimum. So even when programs start off, let's say they don't start off with at least 15, we will always have 2 on site for emergency purposes. So there will always be 2 or more teachers regardless of anything. As the ratios keep increasing, we will continue to add more teachers, but we're all in the same space all the time anyway, so there will always be 2, 3, 4 teachers depending on how many kids are there. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, somewhat.
Okay.
Just because in the current setting in Smith School, like when I pick up my kid, sometimes she's in the computer room. I'm sure there is somebody there with them, but then the majority are in the gym. So I don't know how you guys will play around with this space in order to implement the program that you have, but we just wanted to make sure that obviously everyone is supervised wherever they are in the building.
No, normally we wouldn't be in any other space unless we get displaced from the gym. Let's say there is a school event going on and we have to use classrooms. That would probably be the only time that we would be in a different place. Other than that, we would be either in the main room, which is the gym area, or outside. So regardless of where they're at, they're always pretty much in the same spaces. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can just take turns going up to the podium.
Hi, I'm Bobby.
Hi, how are you?
23 Coker Street, Saddlebrook. I have 2 kids in aftercare. First off, great presentation, really. It was great, and I feel bad because you probably feel like you're being attacked and
Welcome
with all
your
these
questions.
questions.
No need. We're welcome.
So it's not personal. It's just it's our kids. So I just found out about this yesterday, and as I'm paying for 2 kids for before and after care, your program it is nice. Before care is what? An hour before school, and you guys are coming here, right? Okay, so it's about an hour before school starts, because I drop off my kids at 7:30. School starts what, 8:30? If I'm correct, I don't even know because I never am here on school time.
8:45, I think.
8:45. Okay, so we're looking at about like an hour that my kids are here in the morning, and then maybe 2 hours in the afternoon. Honestly, they don't need to do all that stuff. I mean, it's great, but I mean, I don't know any parent, and I work in New York.
Do you have a question?
Excuse me?
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. I got to get to it. My question is, with all that stuff, you have the iPad, and I agree. My kids have an iPad at night, and I have to pry them away from it. And they want to be on their own and everything, and you want to work as a team. I'm just repeating everything that you said. But then when you said, okay, well, if the people that have a relationship with my daughter now, my daughters, excuse me, if they don't have a bachelor's degree, you're not going to hire them. But you're going to have a high school kid help you. Okay, the high school kid could be doing crack. But yet, if somebody has a bachelor's degree, they're great. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean it the way that it sounded. I'm just saying that you want to work as a team. We have a team, and that's great. My kids, I have the girls that watch my kids now, even the high school kids that come over, they know my kids. I'm ashamed to admit, better than me. They'll call me up. Oh, hey, Abby had a cough the other day. How's she doing? Oh, her glasses. I mean, little stuff like that. That's important to me. The academics is great. My kids in school all day long. They don't need to learn anymore. They just need to make sure they do their homework and they work it with the other kids. Now, the other kids in your program, do you have, like in the aftercare now, my daughters, they're in 2nd and kindergarten, they have where the other kids in the class, they group up together and they do homework together and they help each other out, and the high school kids and and everybody, whoever's involved, helps them. Do you have like that same kind of thing there?
Yeah, just to clarify a few, some of the points, when the kids come in at 7:15, 7:30, whether it's 30 minutes, 45 minutes, there's so many options for them to go in and play and do that they love it, even if it's for a little bit of time. So yes, we're open. And even depending on the district and what the needs are, it could be 7:30 we open, could be 7, it could be maybe a little earlier. It really would depend on that. But yes, the kids love it whether they come for a little bit of time or a lot. Just to clarify, as far as the qualifications, yes, there are a few expectations as far as our licensing requirements, but yes, we have hired people that have a high school diploma and work fantastic with our kids. So that's just to clarify that. So yes, for certain positions, we may need at least an associate or at least a bachelor's, but it doesn't mean that they can't work in the program in a different capacity. We have a site director that's in charge of each school, and then there's site teachers or maybe even assistant site teachers. So depending on what level, like what position they get hired for, there's different qualifications for those. I think that was kind of the main. And then, of course, we totally understand, you have people that you already trust and that you trust with your kids. So for that reason, we definitely welcome, having a lot of the people that you already are used to having.
So if you bring in your people and say we don't like them, or the kids don't have a good report or something like that, what would, obviously, I know that you're employed, so I'm not going to beat up on our children or anything, but if they don't have like the good report or something like that,
that's one of the things that is always our top priority. At least in the 2 districts that we have fantastic relationships with the school, and obviously that's really the number one priority. When we come into a school, the first step is building that relationship with the family. So we definitely look forward to that first step in building that relationship and building that trust, because you're probably not going to trust us from day one, but that's going to be our goal from the beginning, to get to know you, to get to know the kids, and to build that relationship so it's a more trusting relationship. And our job is really to find the best people and make sure that we have, set expectations. And of course, we would never keep on our team if we happen to hire someone, that we, through our hiring process, that is not treating the kids right, because we definitely, our goal is really to keep them safe and happy, throughout the whole time.
Okay. Great, thank you. I just have one question here for you guys. I don't even know if you can answer it. So is this like dead set in stone, what this is going on, or this is just talked about? Now, for the people that pay aftercare, the parents, do we even get a say in this or anything? No disrespect to you guys, but since we're the ones paying for it, do we get a say? Because, and I'm not trying to start like a war or anything. I just want to know, because I don't understand why we're doing all this in the first place. We have a system, and I heard what you said, and I agree for that, but take the responsibility away from you and have that team do it. But before all this is going on, I would like to know, this is going to be affecting my kids and me coming back and forth. I just want to make sure that I at least have a say in it, because I just found out about this yesterday. So is there a time or a place that parents can address this? Or, if we don't like what you guys outsource, and the parents just pull together and be like, okay, well, we'll just figure out something else, or maybe we'll pay somebody else to watch the kids, then you won't even need these guys. So, I have two kids, so it doubles the price for me. That's why I'm asking. So is there a way that we can, that the parents would be more involved in this, other than, okay, this is what you guys decided to do for next year?
Well, what I can say, it is on the agenda for tonight for a vote. Okay. After this, we will be going into close to discuss further after the comments. But it is something we are responsible for. I understand all of you pay for it individually, but it comes under our jurisdiction. We are responsible for it running well and for the safety and well-being of your children. This is not something we are doing lightly. This is something that we have done a lot of research into. And if we had any misgivings that your children won't be treated excellent and this program isn't better for them overall, we would not be doing it.
Oh, no, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, was there something wrong with what was, in my opinion, working, because my kids were really doing good. They were doing their homework, they had time to play. They're only here for a couple hours, and after spending 8 hours studying, the last thing they want to do is do more studying. At least my kids.
They're not required. They're not
Right, one, they're not required to, and two, I did a site visit at Paramus. Not one student knew they were learning. They're all playing, they're all having fun. One of the things they were studying was advertising, and they were creating their own advertisement and performing them for each other. One was map making, and they were making treasure maps that actually they gave to the adults, one of them, to follow. So they're learning, and they're doing academic projects, but it's not like they're sitting in a classroom learning.
And they don't have to do it.
And if they want, there was, some kids that went over to read a book. Two of the kids decided they wanted to practice their music. So it's very open. They don't have to do it, but every child was completely engaged for the entire 2 hours I was there and extremely happy. And as I said, they are learning and doing academic projects without even knowing it. And they're just having fun because them, it's playing. So when we say it's academic, it's not like there's a teacher and they're giving a lesson per se.
Yeah.
So for them, it is fun, it's relaxation, it is play.
Yeah, no, and I'm not worried so much on that part. I just want to know why things are changing in the first place. I mean, did something happen where we have to change it? Why do we have to change it if it's working right now? Why are we changing it?
I'll let Superintendent.
So it's not so much that something is happening per se. We have a few things in play. We have an increase in minimum wage and a competitive employment that this organization can provide better offerings to our aftercare people that we currently can't provide, benefits, 401k, dental, vision, things like that for the people who work more than 25 hours a week, and we do have people that do that. It offers the opportunity to provide programs when we're closed, which is something that I know is important to working parents, and it offers us the opportunity to have it function independently. Currently, we have multiple people on staff who have to organize it, who have to create the activities. This is a professional outfit that this is what they do, recreation. So recreation, yes, it could be learning, but recreation is completely different from creating academic curriculum and things like that. This is recreation curriculum, it is very different, and it's its own subset, of learning. And so what we wanted to do was be able to provide what we have or better, and be able to still give the community what they are looking for. The rates this was the best organization that we took a look at as far as competitive rates. Our numbers were going to have to go up next year because of the $15 an hour minimum wage that was non-negotiable. And so our rates, as they were going to have to go up, because they haven't really gone up, we were actually looking at a situation where we weren't going to even be able to cover our own cost with the current cost that we were charging for the program. So our rates were going to go up as well. They had the best rates. They actually came in under what we would have had to charge next year to offer the same thing. So it's compact, it's an organization that does recreational curriculum, that keeps the kids busy, they can offer more to the families than we can regarding breaks and things like that. And so it was an opportunity for us to not have to then manage it. What a lot, maybe you don't see on that side because you're doing the parent thing, is what it takes to manage it on our end, and it's not easy. And so we are using, human resources to manage the aftercare program that we could be using to address towards academic work, and do it still at a comparable rate and a great program. And if the parents, turn to us and said, well, we're not happy, we have concerns, we would be reporting those concerns to the organization. It should at the end of the year, you say, we asked you for this, you didn't give it to us, we wanted this, you didn't give it to us. I mean, this would be a one-year contract initially to see, can this work for us? So that's kind of where we are.
Okay. I would still like, if it's possible, if you can give me a rate of what you were going to charge to what they're going to charge, just so I can look at it, see the difference, and make that decision on if I like what's going on now to what that. I want to be involved. I don't want, as a parent that's paying for it, I want to know I got what's involved up there, but I want to be able to make that choice for my child.
So Ray, can you talk a little bit about the difference in what we the numbers that we gave them, and then, could you go back to that slide?
Oh, also, if there's a snow day, and they cancel school, are you guys gonna watch the kids that day?
Well,
Yeah.
That would
Hey,
really
'cause that, you know, then that might be a game changer.
Yeah,
all
the
right?
same-
Because if you guys call just in case
Yeah.
it's gonna snow and everything is closed, but you're gonna still open up the doors here so I can go to work, you know?
So the safety is obviously an issue. A parent did ask me that last night when I was at the Smith PTO meeting. And I said, if we have, for example, a delayed opening, we have a delayed opening to make sure that the paths are clear and the steps are clear, et cetera, et cetera. So if we have a delayed opening for snow, obviously they can't open because we're not cleared to open. That's pretty much where we are. So if the building is closed for safety, then it's closed for safety. Now, if it's an early dismissal because we have PD or something, then they would be there.
All right, but will the parents still be involved before you make that decision, or are you guys just gonna make that decision?
I think the board is going to go into closed session to finish discussing, but it is on the agenda tonight for a vote. But we're here to listen to the parents. And we will take into consideration whatever you say tonight so that they can discuss it.
Any of your kids go to school here? Yeah? You got before and after care?
I used to do the before and after care.
Did you really? Oh, okay.
I did.
Okay. All right, I just, like I said, and no disrespect to you guys, it was great, it's just, Okay. Okay, all right, thank you.
Never.
If I may. Anthony Ortiz, 321 First Street, Saddlebrook. Let's be honest here. Mrs. Debbie, have you ever been convicted of a crime? No. No? All right, so folks, please listen up. Woodcliff Lake Daycare Center teacher charged with child abuse.
I'm sorry, excuse me?
Kinder care employee accused of molesting toddler during nap time. Daycare worker accused of being too rough with 4-year-old. Kinder care employee arrested. Teacher accused of biting child. Okay? There's also an ADA violation of a diabetic student. These are the questions we have to ask as parents, okay? This PowerPoint presentation is all nice, but these are the questions, okay? Are they gonna care for our kids like she does? No.
Hi, my name is Tawana Claret. I reside at 49 Finnegan Avenue, Saddlebrook Apartments, and I have a comment and a question. One of the things that I think is making us so upset as parents is that it seems like something was wrong with the aftercare program, and I didn't see what was wrong, so it's making me feel like, did I miss something? Because my child has been a part of the before and after care for, how long would that be? 6 years? 6 years now. And honestly, as a single mom, it was only because of the care of the aftercare workers that I was able to go to work and make sure that my child was with someone who knew her very well and cared a lot about her. And I am an educator, so I love that you're talking about STEM, which is now STEAM, which is actually now STREAM, but I love that my daughter was able to have downtime. She had her homework completed every night. I haven't had to work with her at all because Miss Debbie, Miss Chris, the students from the high school, they worked with her. She's in the Gifted and Talented program. She's a Girl Scout. She plays soccer. And all of that is because it's been a community raising her. And I think about you throwing out the words stream and they're going to use an iPad. I don't want those things for my daughter. I want her to be able to socialize, which she is able to do in the after-school program. And as I was listening tonight, it also seems like something's wrong with Saddlebrook's curriculum if we're having someone come in to bring a new curriculum in academics, and I don't think that's what's needed. And I usually don't stand up and talk at the meetings. This is only my second board meeting I've been to, and I've trusted you with my daughter's care and her education, and I think you have been doing a great job. I don't think it was a great job in letting us know that this was happening. Because I just found out about it yesterday. And I would have liked, as my neighbor said, Bobby, to have had more discussion about this because our kids are important. And for me, as a single mom, like I said, I wouldn't have been able to work or do anything without the aftercare program. So my question is, it seems that it's going to be hard also to find people with a bachelor's degree who have a schedule that is conducive to working possibly 3 hours a day. So how do you make sure that you are getting people of quality who can work for your company for 3 hours with a bachelor's degree?
So it is doable. We do have many of them. However, we do have many that have an associate's degree or just a lot of years of experience, maybe not the education background. So again, we're flexible if we find the right person. There are, again, minimum requirements for our licensing, but we are flexible as far as that if we find the right people. I can totally appreciate, the love that I see that you have for, the people that work with your daughter. And, I'm a mom and I appreciate that about, the Champions program, because my son goes to the Champions program, about the staff that work with my child too. So I can definitely appreciate that we get a lot of the same feedback that you're giving for your current staff that we get for Champions staff as well. So I can appreciate that. And, for us, as Champions, it's more like, where I'm hearing what you're saying, but for us, it's like we're just excited to come in, bring all these resources, play with the kids, get to know them, build relationships with them, with you, with the school. So we don't take any offense to any of the questions. We definitely welcome it, but we won't know until you guys, meet us, and we're very happy again. I mean, we welcome any of the staff that you already love to come and work with us as well, if that's what the district and the parents decide.
And I think that's the big question is, it seems like you can say in front of us tonight that people will have their jobs and you'll choose from them. But I also hear, well, we have, right. I hear that you have your own people that you will employ and bring them in.
Well, not necessarily. We are saying that. we would open it as a posting as we would do in any other company, but as Andy mentioned, we definitely would have priority for the staff that you already love and want to be with your kids as well. And trust. And we still have, the same process that we would do if we open any other program where other people from the district, other parents maybe, want to apply and work, with Champions. So we would still, give other people the opportunity to apply too if they're interested in working with Champions as well.
I really hope that's what you do, and you look at the staff that's here and give them priority because they do know our students. And I really do like the fact that the high school students come in and they act as a coach. I don't necessarily think that I want to be paying for a program and my daughter being older and she be a coach because she has her own things, that she needs to accomplish while she's in the program. And again, I don't think we need all of the technology. We need to teach our children how to socialize. And that's what happens when they're in the current program. But I respect whatever the board decides, because I do trust that you're going to listen to what we're saying. And so, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me one second. I just want to reiterate that we are hoping, encouraging, and recommending our current staff to apply and continue working. We do not want anybody to leave. It is just a new company managing. So we're hoping that our staff will continue with the program.
You're deciding. They hire.
But we're recommending them, and they're in contract with us, so we're making the recommendation.
Correct.
I understand that.
You know, those decisions are made every day, whether it's us or them. Secondly, we made sure that high school students could continue working with the program and understand it would only be our high school students. High school students from Fairlawn aren't coming in, only ours. They will go through the same training and the same background check as everyone else. So understand, we are just trying to give more with less administrative time. All of our principals and supervisors having more time to attend to their full-time responsibilities as opposed to being taken away managing before and after care, which is not really their job.
And the cost, they can do it for better reason.
Thank you, go ahead. We are getting very close to the 45-minute time, so please try and be quick so I do not have to start holding everybody to 5 minutes.
I will. She took 70% of my questions. We agree. But I'm Jasmina Merkulik, 468 Hobson Avenue in Saddlebrook. I just have two maybe questions. You mentioned before, sir, that you did a tour of their site and how they do the program. I'm not here I am here because I love Saddlebrook. 3 of my kids are here. When was the last time you visited our Franklin? I'm talking Franklin. I'm not talking other schools. Do you know how long they spend with the kids in home?
Hold on.
I'm sorry?
Could I just?
Debbie will tell you I come there.
Oh, I mean, it's hands-on. I learn best hands-on. So if I see something, that is how I'm going to learn. I respect your presentation. It is very attractive. No disrespect, it is. But how long will you be doing homework? Were you presented by our board? Did they tell you what happens in our aftercare program? How long and what's the process? Do you know what we do? Maybe I'm not saying it correctly, but I think you got the point. Have you been presented?
If I can answer.
Hold on one second.
Please understand this too. They will be working at our behest. Of
course.
So if we say to them, we don't want iPads, the kids have enough technology, then there are no iPads. If we say to them, we want to make sure that everybody has plenty of homework time, they're going to say, of course, we would do that anyway. But we are in a partnership with them. They are here to support us, our families, our kids, and what we need. So we devise what we need, and they give it to us. And if they're not giving it to us, then we address it with them. You know, we asked you for no iPads, and I'm seeing iPad, for example. So we determine the parameters of the program, what we want, what we're interested, what we don't want, what we're not interested in, and then they craft a program based on what we're asking for. And when they came in with their proposal, it was based on an overview of what we offer now, and we said, we need at least this, and we want you to do it for a competitive rate. And that is what they gave us. And
I am sure.
So just so that you know, they will do what we ask them to do. That's how it works. They don't come in and tell us how it's going to work.
Okay. Ms. Debbie, do you have a college degree? And what is your position? So for your supervisors, what is the requirement?
So we have two of our site directors just have a high school diploma, and they have years of experience. So
I am very afraid.
It is doable.
I love these people.
Yeah.
I would give blood for these people.
Yeah, and we appreciate how much they're vouching for you. So
is there any way to make them sleep at night if we're going to vote? If the vote is yes towards you, is there anything that you can put in writing that you would grandfather them in and help them sleep at night? Are they losing jobs or income?
we can discuss any contractual issues with employees. We are going to 5 minutes per person, so please try and be concise with your questions, just so you know, because we have to keep it moving. So for everybody, please try and keep concise questions so that everybody gets a chance to make their comment or question. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Argueta, 414 Christie Terrace. I have a very anxious little boy who attends Long and is taught by Miss Donna and her fantastic team. So I just want to recognize them for the work that they do, because my little boy has come out of his shell tremendously. Not only do they have teachers, but they have, the high school students who've come in who have become big brothers and big sisters for my little boy. So I am here tonight because I know that you were considering bringing them in. I know things can be done. So what I would like to advocate for is that it is put in a contract for our staff to be brought in regardless. And I know you can't discuss it, but I just want to say I would not be comfortable making this decision or moving towards this unless I know that the team that's been looking after my boy is part of that in writing in a contract. That's it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lily Beth Herrera. I'm at 28 Garden Street in Saddle Brook, obviously. So I have some easy questions. I think I echo the sentiment of the parents, but I just I'm more of a logistics. So in terms of the hours, has that been discussed? Like the hours, are they going to remain as they are now in terms of the before care and the after care? Is that going to be made?
Whatever we want. Whatever we want.
So at least what we have now is going to stay?
At least what we have now, if not extra
If not
hours
more.
for extra
Yeah,
time.
we can just accommodate to whatever the district needs.
But is that factored into your price? Because I'm a numbers person, so it's
Yeah, I don't think that would change as far as the hours. I don't think. I'm not sure what you guys discussed as far as hours already.
I don't think the hours would change drastically enough to
No, so
make a
it
difference.
should be the same.
And you mentioned a registration fee. What is that?
The registration, so there's a student registration fee. So if you have one child, it'll be $50 for the school year, because it's the registration fee, and then the weekly rates are those. And then if you have more than one child, it would be $75 for the family for the school year.
And then you mentioned the possibility of having full-day camps, I guess, when school is out. That's an additional fee, I suspect.
Yeah, for the full day, because we would be open, let's say if it's 7 to 6, it would be 11 hours of program. So for the full day camp, let's say it's a spring break, then the rate is $40 for the day.
For the day.
Yeah.
And you mentioned site managers, and so in terms of the staffing, because that's kind of where I'm very uncomfortable with that 15-to-1 ratio, because my daughter, currently I have one child. In September, I have 2 children in the aftercare system, and when I pick up my daughter, the last thing I'm worried about is supervision and how many people are there to make sure that she gets, that she's safe, and that's really key, is the safety. So that 15-to-1 number just what doesn't sit right with me, because if you're mentioning, so I need you to clarify, what do you mean by 15-to-1, and who's on site, right? Like, do you have a manager on site? Because at Smith School, we have Miss Patty, who's always there, right? And she's managing everything. She knows the parents. And then she has the high school students that help her, and then she has additional staff members that help her. And I know for a fact that the ratio is not 15-to-1 at any given point in aftercare on any day. So, I think that
that it's maybe I don't know what the ratio for the after school.
It's probably 5-to-1 in most cases. At least when I pick up my daughter, I'm usually the last one to pick her up, because my husband and I both work in New York. But when I pick up my daughter, there's probably 6 or 7 people there. And I'm sure people have left throughout the day. So that 15-to-1 ratio really makes me nervous, especially when you're talking about someone going to the bathroom, someone having to go somewhere else. How are you managing that, right? Because if a child goes to the bathroom, who's there to watch that happen?
Yeah, let's say we have 30 kids, right? There would be 2 teachers. Let's say we do a bathroom break, 15 kids stay in the main room, 15 kids go to the bathroom break, and they come back. If it's on an emergency, somebody really needs to go, normally the bathrooms are like right outside of the main floor. So one teacher stays with the kids, the other teacher, let's say, would stand at the door to be looking in, supervising still, and to be looking walking out, where the other child would be walking to the bathroom. So at all times, there would be. That is the ratios similar to, I don't know, like during the school day, it may be 1 to 20, 1 to 25. We have, less than that, which is 1 to 15, so.
Yeah, but I think the structure's a little bit different, right?
Yeah, and then going back to the point that you said, so structure-wise for our programs, there's a site director that oversees the program, but it's still in ratio with the kids.
And
So
it's there?
It's there all the time, correct. Because the site director is still in ratio with the kids. So while they have other maybe administrative duties, they're still with the kids, teaching the lessons, doing the activities, supervising the kids, and then the site teachers are still there as well with the kids as well. So the site director and the site teachers are always on site.
So when you say in ratio, you mean that they're not considered
like they're not additional outside of the 1 to 15. They're still considered part of the 1 to 15. So for example, if we have 30 kids, we would have the site director and a site teacher in program at that time.
So that's worse, right? Because if they have administrative responsibilities as well, they're not
But
necessarily.
they have outside additional time that they do those.
Not during the time.
Correct. During program time, they're strictly with the kids, and then the other administrative duties, it's done outside.
So I guess, and from my clarification, the 1 to 15 is for the teachers. Now, are you going to have assistants or high school students that are going to help those teachers? Is that something that's something that you guys do, or is this like a?
Yeah, so if it's an assistant teacher, a site director, they're still part of the 1 to 15. So they're still in the same ratio.
Oh, so it's always 1 to 15?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to, thank you.
Through the chair, if I could. Can we please get rid of this time thing? Thank you, Mike. There's no reason for it.
Mike, that is part of the policy. This discussion has been going on for an hour. There's a lot more people. We need to keep it moving.
I disagree.
You're going to have a lot of questions from people.
Next.
I said you're going to have a lot of questions from people because, probably like myself, we just found out yesterday.
And I understand that. I appreciate it, and that's why we're allowing it. We just need to keep it moving. That's all.
Okay. Well, my name is Kristen Benanti. I live at 289 Congress Street. I have a couple things. I know with the whole thing with the ratio, if this is something with summer camp as well, and you guys do any kinds of trips, are you going to have more than 1 to 15 because you're out and you need to be able to have?
Absolutely, and sometimes we have a field coach that also is supports the districts. Me as the area manager, most of the time I go to all the trips as well. So there's always additional people, especially for trips that we always have to go. Yes.
Okay, and also if you guys decide not to go with the people that are currently watching the kids in aftercare, is there going to be any kind of adjustment period where they are still allowed to be there for maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks? So this way the kids can also get used to the new people and not just, clean slate. They have to get used to you guys.
I mean, that's, yeah.
The proposal is for September start, not for starting now. So.
It will be starting fresh in September.
Starting fresh in September, so the goal would be to have as many of our own people.
Like whether they start fresh now or then,
Well, you're asking
are they going to come in one day and there's all new people, is what I'm saying.
That's not going to happen because we have a whole staff of people at each of our sites currently. We're recommending all of our staff to the organization for them to interview. The goal is to maintain as many of our people as possible. Next year, September, a child goes into a classroom, they meet a new teacher. They adjust. You don't say, well, will the second grade teacher come up and spend 2 weeks with them in third grade? Children adjust, but we will have a large majority of our current people who remain in the program.
And my last thing, I know we talked about what drove the decision. Can I ask when it all started?
Probably halfway through the year when we started to look at the budget and what we were charging for aftercare and the change in the legislation regarding the minimum wage change, which is going to go up to $15 an hour, and then what it would potentially cost us to keep the program afloat. And would our parents be able to absorb a dramatic change in cost, or would it be better to outsource it to a company that could keep the cost a little bit closer to what the parents are currently used to and and have that happen in a way that is still good for the kids. So that is a reality of just the economy right now, and having to pay people dramatically more. And then where do we get that funding from? We would have to then turn it over and dramatically increase the cost of aftercare from one year to the next and push all of that on the parents, when what they're offering is much closer to what we're currently charging. I know it's slightly more, but it's closer to what we're currently charging versus what we might have to charge if we're still going to run it ourselves.
And I mean, I don't mind the slight cost increase, and I do appreciate the things that they do offer. My only concern is that I'm just finding out about it now. I think that transparency is a big thing here, and I think maybe when you guys first started thinking about this, to send out an email to let us know what was happening, rather than, I find out yesterday and now it's a town hall.
Some time ago, we did notify the aftercare employees that we were going out for an RFP, which would be proposals to find out what was possible. And that's what we did. So we did notify the aftercare employees. Our concern was that we'd be able to provide parents with a high-quality program, and it's right now only April. So this would not take place until September. Everything that's in place for the summer would remain in place.
But you guys are making a decision about it tonight.
Well, it's currently on the agenda for a vote. We're going to go into closed session, and the board is going to discuss.
Okay.
Well, we can go to close.
Hello, my name is Stephen Grulon, 8 Willer Terrace. So I'm one of those high school students you guys keep mentioning. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate your dedication to the community.
My problem is, how are you guys going to manage to connect with the kids? Because every time I go into work, we spend at least 15 minutes just talking and socializing with the kids. Like, for instance, one of my kids, under Donna's team, Leo, he had a game today. He was very excited about it. He told me all about it. Omar, he's one of our special eds kids. He loves fire trucks.
Excuse me, I'm just going to ask you to be very careful about what you say about children in public. You really can't talk about.
In other words, please don't use any names.
I'm sorry. Well, to be short, I know a lot about these kids. I've talked with them for years. I've been working since I was a freshman there. I volunteered a year. So my concern is this 1 to 15th ratio. We have 7 kids. We have 7 coworkers here with under Donna's team, and there's 30 kids. And I really don't think that 1 adult per 15 kids is enough, because you really need to connect with these kids or they're just not going to care. Kids aren't machines. You can't teach them all day. Let's quicken this up. I was in the program from 3rd to 6th, and I gotta say, I loved being in that program. Whenever I went, I loved being in it. I loved the coworkers. I really connected with them. They showed me some of my favorite hobbies. So my concern is, how are you guys gonna connect with the kids?
Well, I'm sorry, what was that last question?
How are we going to connect?
How are you gonna be more one-on-one with the kids with a 1 to 15th ratio?
I have a question, actually. Can you explain to me what your day is then? Like, what is your program? How do you schedule your time?
All right.
No?
Marianne? Just understand the 1 to 15 ratio is the minimum ratio. It doesn't mean, they have 15 kids, we're only putting 1 person in there. That's the minimum ratio they will have. And again, we are hoping that our staff, our high school students, will choose to continue with this company.
Hi, Melissa Brickley, 216 Wilson Street.
Can you speak up just a little, please?
Melissa Brickley, 216 Wilson Street. I have 1 daughter at Long, and she goes to before and after care. So I have a logistical question, and it was related to if there's not enough people signed up, like for a particular school, then is there a possibility of us having to have the program at a school other than our home school?
I don't think with the current enrollments that we have that's really going to be an issue. I think the reality of it is that most parents need the aftercare, and based on our current numbers, we have every intention. I don't know where, I know that there was like some buzz about we would be closing spots. I don't know where that came from. That was never part of closing locations, was never part of any discussion. The RFP was about maintaining exactly what we have.
Okay. For instance, we have one school that only has 6 students right now. It will be sorely staffed, and it will continue at that school.
Okay. And then tonight...
Now, the only exception to that would be, for example, on like, say, teachers' convention. We may not run every location on a day like that because you're running a camp and you may not have a lot of kids. That would be the exception. But the regular before and after care would be in your home school.
Okay. And then my other question / comment is just related to hearing that, you know, if we kept our current program, which I am in support of, my daughter loves the team at Long, that the increase would be dramatic because
we have an
I think
increase
it's expensive.
in some time, yes.
Right, yeah,
and we have an increase in some time, and that's part of why it would be dramatic, and we're trying to prevent that from happening. We're sensitive, and that was part of our discussion. We're very sensitive to the cost factor. We're trying to do it within a fair cost, and by outsourcing it, we have that option to maintain the cost.
Understood.
And maintain the quality.
Right.
Not at the expense of the quality.
If the vote ended up that we kept our own program and didn't outsource, I would just maybe encourage looking at options for using the time that you use as opposed to a flat rate. And I realize that the more you use, you know, there's like you pay a little less, I guess, overall than hourly, but it's quite expensive. I use 45 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the afternoon, and I pay the same flat rate as someone who uses the full time in the morning and the full time in the afternoon. And it's costly now, so
understood.
It's just something to consider.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Melissa Ortiz. I live on 321 First Street in Saddlebrook. A couple of things. First, my husband mentioned a lot of safety before, which we can't really forget. I mean, this is all beautiful, but behind doors, things have happened in your program where the safety for my son is number one. I'm an educator. I'm a teacher in another district for 16 years, and last year my son did not attend Saddlebrook. He attended private school, and every day was horrible because he didn't want to go to aftercare, and he didn't want to go after school because he didn't want to do any more schoolwork. This year has been the best year of my life because my son plays. He is loved by Miss Debbie and by everybody at Franklin School. I have to just tell you, there was a bad snowstorm, and I only work about 30 minutes away, and it took me hours and hours to get to Franklin School. My phone died. I was crying. I was a complete mess. And the best feeling ever is when I opened that door, and I was so sorry to Miss Debbie, and she looked at me. She said, "Please don't worry about it." And my son was smiling, and he said, "Mom, it's okay. I had so much fun." He cries to me every day, "Mom, please pick me up at 6. Don't come late." But I was extremely late that day, and Miss Debbie, I said, "Oh my God, do I have to pay extra?" And my question to you is, what happens if that happened? Would I have to pay you extra money? Because to me, children's happiness is number one. Forget about the money, it's the children's happiness. And if they are happy right now at Franklin School, why change?
Hi, my name is Diana Cannon. I'm in 254 Floor Lane here in Saddlebrook. And I understand where you're coming from. My son has been in daycare since he was 2 months old. And all that you're doing is what a daycare would do. And they have all this curriculum and things to do. And they do have that in our program where Ms. Dana is with all the kids. Not in the form that they're presenting, but they do have that every single day. And, sorry. I got my 7-year-old coming home one day, and we were discussing about it with another parent over playing baseball, and he overheard us, and he asked me crying that night,
why are they gonna, I'm not gonna have Miss Dana that day, And it was hard for me to hear that from my 7-year-old. So he asked me to do petitions, and between yesterday finding out, or Monday finding out, and Wednesday, I missed hours of work in the morning and afternoon, and I stood in the morning and afternoon getting signatures from parents. I think what upset us the most is the fact that we didn't know about this until just a few days ago, and the effect that they have on my kid and a lot of the kids here is just incredible. And if this is going to take effect, I know that you're saying you're going to take precedence on the people that we have here, but some of the people that we have here, they're high school students, they don't have a diploma, they don't have an associate's, they don't have a bachelor's. And what has upset us the most is the fact that we're going to lose those people. And I understand you saying that they're going to have better, they're going to have insurance, health insurance, 401k, but if they don't get hired, they won't get 401k, they don't get insurance, they don't get any of the things that you're saying they're going to get. So for us, that's the most difficult part to hear. We don't mind a new program coming in, but we mind the people, we mind losing the people. And we all just want to make sure that these people are guaranteed for us, because this is the people that we trust our kids with, to leave them at home with. And the same thing, when that happened and we had the snowstorm, the same thing, me and my husband weren't able to get home until 7, and they were there, they have our numbers, they called us, they told us everything is fine, don't worry about it. It's like in a one-to-one basis, and it will take a while to get with new people, but this is what we don't want to lose. And I have thanks here from all the kids that they have done for several years for them, and I have all the petitions and signatures, and I don't know if this will make a difference for you to, for you to hire them, but this is the people that we want our kids to be with. And I want to leave this with you so you can take a look and put that into consideration, and thank you.
And everything that you said was a top priority for us when we were soliciting.
And also understand, as they stated before, experience counts. So if they don't have the degrees, but they have experience, they've been working here, it matters. It's just the same. It's the experience.
Yeah. I have the experience, but sometimes when I have my kid who's 7 and he understands all the things that he comes crying to me saying, I don't want them to eat, that tells me they're making a difference in their life,
I understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jada Khatun. I live in 25 Alberta Drive. Your presentation is great. I work for a consulting company. I do presentation every day, every night. And I go to my client and present to sell service, just like you guys are trying to do. And I think all the parents kind of spoke what's inside me as well. Miss Donna, sorry, little emotional. My son, he's 12. He went through Miss Donna for 6 years. Now my daughter goes. Last night, similar to what she mentioned, my daughter started crying and saying, so does that mean Miss Donna's not going to be there anymore? I said, no, that's not what it is. They're just bringing new people or new service, but I think Miss Donna will stay and she'll be your teacher. So, if the kids are feeling it, and we live for our kids, if they're not happy, I don't think the parents will be happy here. So we want to make sure we retain those people that touch our kids emotionally, mentally, and the feeling that they have for those people, we all have. I live in this town, everyone lives, and everyone, we bonded, I guess, or we have a good relationship. They're not just some people working or providing service. These are the people who take care of our kids at a personal level. And I don't think that personal attachment can be obtained through someone different. Maybe it will. We're taking chances, right? So the probability of that relationship building may be there, may not be there. And I know you guys are out there too to sell your service. At the end of the day, we're all out to make money, or sorry for being blunt, but that's the whole purpose, right? You're not coming here because you care for our kids or because you're going to get benefit out of it, right? Right? And we want the same benefit too, but it's not about benefit. It's about personal relationship that my kids and many kids already had built with. I know Miss Donna has been wonderful, wonderful. So I don't really have a question, but because I think they've already asked all the great questions, but I just want to express my strong feeling about, these people who make a big difference. We take things for granted, but these small things means a lot to us all. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, and just to kind of, before they go, like, I'm looking forward to seeing who Miss Debbie and Miss Donna, because those are the names that I've been hearing. Miss Debbie and Miss Donna. Who's Miss Donna? Hi, Miss Donna, Miss Debbie. Yeah, I have nothing really to say when I hear all of you, because I love hearing that. That to me is really important. So, thank you for sharing that about,
Hello, my name is Jaden Gatus. I live at 442 Dewey Avenue. I've been going to aftercare for 5 years, and Miss Debbie, it was like super fun there. I learned a lot of stuff with Miss Debbie, and Miss Debbie's a good teacher there.
Hi, my name is Amina.
Take a deep breath.
Hi, Amina.
And I live 454 Dewey Avenue, Saddlebrook, New Jersey.
Doing great. Go ahead.
I go to Franklin School, and I've been also with Miss Debbie for 5 years, and she's really nice. Everybody there really likes her.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joseph Carrasco, 180 South Street, Saddlebrook. One of our concerns is I can see that you're saying about the student ratio. In the beginning, you said that you're going to have to get to know the parents when they're picking up kids. So say you have a parent picking up a kid, you got another teacher who's going to be watching the other kids, and now you got a kid who's got to go to the bathroom, and you have 2 teachers. How is that all going to work out?
So normally, the exit doors are usually, I don't know how the schools are set up, but in the schools that we're in, the exit door is the one that's by the gym or in front of the gym, where it's kind of like the easy access to see. So we have walkie-talkies, we have doorbells, and then normally, if that was the case where we would need to kind of leave at any given moment, then we would take a few kids and always make sure that they're being watched.
Yeah, but how, I'm not understanding that. If you have a parent, you don't know me, I come pick up my child, so now you gotta look at my license, you gotta question me, you gotta pull out your sheet to see if I'm on there. And now, again, you have the kids who are playing in the gym.
We would still be in the same place because the sign-out sheet is in the main room. So we normally have our setup. We have our what we call a family communications table, which would be that with our sign-out sheets and our information. So a parent comes to pick up, they would have to come into the family communications table to the actual room where our program is to sign out. So we would be in the same place while we're checking your ID, while you're signing out, and while we're releasing the child to you. So it's not like we would be at different locations.
Well,
would all be in the
at
same
Franklin
place.
School, you have the main area, the kids are in the gym, and then you have kids doing homework in a classroom.
Right, so logistically, we would have to figure out how we would be able to
But that should be figured out already.
Well, I don't know personally the structure of the school and you know, where the doors are.
If you're going to be taking care of our children?
We just in their defense. So they have been provided with parameters. We did not take prospective providers on tours of all of our building. We were not going to traipse, 6 providers through our entire buildings. We will show them the space, we will tell them where they will operate, they will be able to see the space, and then they will supervise the space appropriately.
Yeah,
And if
and make
children
sure-
are in multiple rooms and they need another adult to supervise the students because they go into a classroom or a lab or a music room or the library, then we will tell them exactly what we need from them, and then they will structure it.
The 1 to
Haven't done
15
that
ratio
part.
that everybody's hooked up on, that is just the pure minimum that will ever be. That doesn't mean that's what it's going to be. Most likely, it's going to be a smaller ratio than that, but it will never be a bigger ratio than that. So, don't get hung up on that. It's that much.
And I have another question is, they have 2 rates in the morning. So if you drop your kid off at 8 o'clock and later you pay a different rate, are you going to offer something like that, or this is going to be set in stone? Because now we'll be paying double for our kid to come to before care.
Right now, it's just one rate. Regardless of the time, you have to staff the program.
Right, so we would always have a minimum of 2 people there, so we would have them there. We can't we wouldn't say, okay, you're only gonna be there from this time to this time. We would assume if we have, 20 kids on the schedule, we would have those 2 people coming in that day, or 3 or 4, whatever the case is, based on how many we have scheduled.
Do you have a breakfast program?
We don't do the AMs, we do a PM snack. During camps, like the full day camps, we do provide a breakfast snack and then a PM snack.
Because like Franklin School offers a breakfast program, so what now happens to those kids?
Like in our school, in the district that we have, like the school has the breakfast program, so normally, sometimes we
they would
share the
get that.
space, and then they would eat the school's breakfast program with
Yeah,
us.
the breakfast program is provided by the district. That's a federally supported program, so that would not change.
Okay.
That's currently not provided by our aftercare. That's a district program.
And then another thing is you kept saying about it would be a drastic increase. How come we didn't, as parents who were paying for this, get that number and for us to decide?
Because we're trying not to have that happen.
But why not? We're the ones who are paying for it. I mean, unfortunately, you guys don't know what our budget is.
No, I don't. But we're trying to work within what the current costs are and try to stay close to that. So we were trying to troubleshoot ways to prevent that from happening, prevent a large increase in the cost to you.
But I mean, that should be our decision.
No, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut you off for the time, but again, it is also something that we are responsible for running. So I understand your feeling, but there's 2 sides to that.
This gentleman had said about a reimbursement. Is there reimbursement from the company back to the district?
Yes, they pay a facility use fee, and they pay a percentage of the net profits and tuition.
Which is the same as what we currently do.
And current expenses that are hitting the program, which just passed in the state of New Jersey, is the hourly minimum wage. It's great for hourly employees, but it's also an impact to the program. The accrued sick time leave was, again, great for the hourly employees, but it's an additional cost. And the Affordable Care Act. So we're limited who could work in the program because they're all working in Saddlebrook. The government doesn't care if they're a paraprofessional or they're working in the aftercare program. It's how many hours in the district. So any staff member now could work for the other program, and the hours, don't get added together.
Okay. I just really hope that you guys will give them an opportunity, because I know he keeps saying that, he encourages them, but you guys make the final decision, and it's a business deal.
Looks like I might be last. My name is Shannon Capadonna. I live at 602 Hickory Ave, and we go to Long School. And this is a little bit of a statement and a question I will get to. So I guess my first statement would be, I do appreciate your presentation. However, everything that I have seen is, for the most part, exactly what's happening currently, except for a couple of the little added extra additions. Of course, with every added extra addition, you're going to have the cost factor. I am a full-time school employee. I am in before and after care 5 days a week. I have 2 special needs children in the program.
I believe Saddlebrook, I chose to move to Saddlebrook because I had come from a hometown that was known as a small community. One looked after another. Saddlebrook is just that, a small community that looks one after another. I guess what I'm having the hardest time to wrap my brains around is exactly the hiring of who you would be hiring. Yes, I've heard we're going to recommend the staff that we currently have. The ratio, yes, it is important to us as parents for a number of reasons. Again, I am a mother with special needs children. Every day I walk into before and after care, there is one-on-one attention to either my child or groups of children. So if you ask, our children's needs are currently being met by our staff in addition to the program director who oversees our before and after care and summer programs. Everything that you are offering is currently being offered in Saddlebrook for the most part. So again, we appreciate your presentation, but the people that are currently running our programs are doing a phenomenal job with our children. And what I like most about Saddlebrook, we're not Bergenfield. We're not Paramus. We're Saddlebrook. We're a small community. And when I go to Acme, I see Miss Donna. When I go down to the soccer field, I see the high school students. Everywhere I go, I run into these people. So you could do background checks, you can do all of those things. At the end of the day, when I'm dropping my kids off, my 5-year-old who's in kindergarten, she sees everybody around this community. We don't know who you're going to bring in that are going to be around our children. I think that's what a lot of us are struggling with. On top of the cost factor that I've heard, what would the cost factor be for us had we not considered you? I'm already at $720 a month. We're going to raise it $100 on your end. What's another $200 if I can keep the people that I already have? I think we're disheartened that we didn't have any feedback or any information. And my question that I will get at is, from what I'm hearing, is that it was really a managerial type of issue that they're looking to help manage the issues that come from before or after care or the summer program. So my question is, if a situation arises in the before, after care, or summer program, because student issues always go right back to the school, will you as the managerial staff be taking those issues and problems on, or will they then be dealt with in the school setting? Who's communicating that? Who's dealing with the issues that occur in those situations?
If it happens during our program time, we have our staff and our protocols and our policies and procedures that we follow. So
your champion program will be handling the issues that arise in the program. So
during our program time, yes.
So does that mean then the school is not aware of the issues that occur on their grounds?
No, they can be aware, yeah.
Who does that? Who then takes that information and brings it to the school? Is it you guys as the managerial company, or is it the parent then has to take the situation that occurs and now bring it back to the school?
So the open lines of communications are always going to be there. So the site director at the site would always keep that open communication with the principal from that school. And as a support, me as the area manager, for example, in the districts that I have, I also have that communication with the principals and then the Board of Education and everybody else. And so in any serious situations or anything, we always will maintain an open communication as to what's going on so that everybody is aware if needed. Yeah.
So you guys are kind of like the middle ground?
Not necessarily. Like, we have our program, we run our program. If anything happens during our program,
my question was answered. I thank you. So again, I really hope that you take the feedback that you've heard from tonight and you really consider this, because we really love the staff that we have here and we love our program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Joseph Toth, former resident and school board member alongside some of you guys. Good to see you. in addition to being Miss Debbie's son, not only is she a great employee, but great mother. So I am a little biased here. But in terms, Ray, through the chair, of course, Ray, in terms of the $15 minimum wage, it's my understanding that it's actually a gradual increase, that it doesn't have to be $15 an hour right off the bat, correct? Right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's really not an issue per se currently, right?
Yeah, it's going up.
Okay. It's going up. You could make it, what, $10 an hour? Because in addition to being an educator, I also run a business on the side that I employ people at minimum wage, and we're making it $10 an hour for the upcoming summer. So, yeah, I think, 2020 something, it needs to be up to 15. So that's not a current issue.
Well,
it's a current issue for next year. It goes up partially in July, then it goes up again in January, which is in the same year.
So what's that?
Not only do the minimum wage people go up, then you have to start raising everybody else up too.
Of course.
So
But
it is an effect on the year, though.
But yes, but you're highlighting $15 an hour, and it's not an accurate number.
5 years.
In 5 years, not by next year. So that's that point. And also, is it Dr. Shanley or Miss Shanley? Ms. Shanley, you seem to have the best interests of the students at heart, so that's awesome. But for the board members, as a former board member who is in your position, for 2 votes actually, one for privatizing custodial staff and the food service staff, I implore you to listen to these community members who vote you in. Let's be honest, they put you where you are. Some of them, right. So it's super important that you do hear their concerns. And, I mean, who are we here for? The kids, right? The kids. And you heard from a bunch of really great kids, from kids in the program to kids who work for the program. So I really hope that you take that into consideration. And I hope to God that you guys will have the students' best interests at heart. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like a motion to close the comment section.
Motion.
Do we have, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I would like now a motion to go into closed session to discuss contractual matters concerning this.
Yeah. Take a recess and go in close.
To recess and then go in closed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
The mom who gave this to me?
Thank you. May I have a motion to reconvene the meeting, please?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
Okay, I would then like a motion to table item B29 to the May 1st meeting.
So motion. Second.
Roll call, Mr. Crowdy?
Ms. Roloff? Ms. Robinson?
Yes.
Ms. Torbic?
Yes.
Ms. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Arcomando?
Yes.
Ms. Ainello?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes. And now we have a motion to open the meeting for the public for agenda items only.
So moved.
And policies.
That's it.
Can you do all in favor? We can do all in favor, right? Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are open for public comment. Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment on agenda items at this point? Seeing none, I would like a motion to close for public comment.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll move now to board action items. B26 and B28, as discussed on Monday, is just a small revision to the district calendar and then the minutes of previous meetings. May I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion, comment? Roll call, Mr. Crowdy?
Ms. Roloff?
Yes.
Ms. Robinson?
Yes.
Ms. Torbic?
Yes.
Ms. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Arcomando?
Going to abstain?
Ms. Ainello?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes. All right, education and curriculum, Ms. Torbic?
At the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following items.
E29 through E36.
Second? You're the first. You're the move. I'm so tired.
Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Roloff?
Yes.
Ms. Robinson?
Yes.
Ms. Torbic?
Yes.
Ms. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Raccomando?
Abstain, wasn't here Monday.
Ms. Ainello?
Yes to all except I abstain from item number 30, field trip ID number 546.
Ms. Mahoney? That's it? Is that it?
That's it.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Okay, at the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following items: F-102 through F-115.
Second.
Any discussion or comments? Mr. Crowdy, do you want to address F-109? Sorry.
He got the bids. He got the bids.
Yes, this is part of these two bids. We went out to bid a few times. We finally separated the project into two bids, and we finally got awards that are actually lower than our estimates. And this is part of the referendum vote back in November, the $450,000 security question. So we're moving forward with this, and the project will be done over the summer.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, Mr. Crowdy?
Ms. Roloff?
Yes.
Ms. Robinson?
Yes.
Ms. Torbic?
Yes, except for F-106, I abstain from number 7 and 8.
Ms. Zattarelli?
Yes to all except F11 and F12. I have to stay true to myself.
You said abstain from?
No, I won't know.
No, on which ones?
F11 and F12.
111 and 112.
Oh, sorry.
Correct?
Yeah.
Mr. Raccomando?
Abstain.
Ms. Ainello?
Yes to all except I abstain from check number 1609 and 1985 in item F-102. And I also abstain from item number F-115.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Items passed.
Policy, Ms. Mahoney?
At the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following items. The second reading of the following policies, P4211 through P8651.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none? Mr. Crowdy?
Ms. Roloff? Ms. Robinson?
Yes.
Ms. Torbic?
Yes.
Ms. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Raccomando?
Yes.
Ms. Ainello?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes. Personnel, Mr. Raccomando?
Okay, at the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following items. P78 through, I believe it's P160.
Any questions or discussion?
Second. Did somebody second it?
Angela said second.
Angela did? Okay.
Seeing none, Mr. Crowdy?
Ms. Roloff?
Yes.
Ms. Robinson?
Yes.
Ms. Torbic?
Yes.
Ms. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Raccomando?
Again, I'm going to abstain because on Monday, I wasn't able to open up the docs for the 8th, but I was able to open for the 10th, so I didn't really see this. So I'm going to abstain.
Abstain from all items, right?
Yep.
Ms. Ainello?
Yes to all except I'm going to abstain from P-160.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes. Are there any additional committee reports that weren't given on Monday?
Nothing on the negotiations.
Okay, any additional liaison reports?
I just, if I may, the PTO, at the April PTO meeting, the members of the executive board discussed their plans to celebrate the staff for Teacher Appreciation Week. What school? Which school? I'm sorry,
No, you might.
it's on. It's on. Can you pull it in? Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? Better, okay.
You know what it is?
Sorry.
The video can't pick up your...
Okay, I apologize. Should I start again? Do you want me to start? Okay. At the April PTO meeting, the members of the executive board discussed their plans to celebrate the staff for Teacher Appreciation Week, which is going to be celebrated on May 7th through the 10th. There will be a breakfast on May 6th on Monday. There will be a dessert day on Wednesday, May 8th, and a salad bar luncheon on Friday, May 10th. The organization sent out an email today asking active PTO members for food donations. You can submit your donation through Sign Up Genius. If anyone has any questions, they can reach the president, Beth Lamboy, pto@gmail.com. And the next PTO meeting will be on May 2nd at 7 p.m. in the Media Center.
Just quickly about the Saddlebrook Educational Foundation. They're doing a Jersey Mike's fundraiser on April 27th. For a $2 donation, you get a sub. I have tickets. You have to present the tickets so the foundation gets the money. The Saddlebrook Educational Foundation 5K is going to be October 5th and the walkathon October 4th.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Oh, and just the budget meeting is May 1st, 7 o'clock here.
Thank you. Any correspondence?
Through the chair,
Yes?
I would just like to thank the community for coming out tonight, especially the little kids. I know it was tough for them to do that. So thank you to you guys for still being here. And that's it. Happy Easter.
Thank you.
Can I make a comment?
That's over.
Miss Donna, Miss Debbie still here? Could, after we close, could I just meet with the two of you quickly? Thank you.
Okay, any old business? New business? All right, can I have a motion to open the meeting to the public for comments?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, is there any members of the public that would like to make any additional comments not on the agenda? Seeing none, motion to close for public comment?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Good night.
Okay, the next board meeting, which is also budget, but the next board meeting will be May 1st.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all for attending, and thank you all for staying for the duration of our lengthy meeting.